this after all.
To a building. The early morning explosion, one of 5 to rock the Ukrainian capital.
Let me be the first to say good afternoon, because it is less than a minute after noon. I almost said good morning. There's a bird behind me.
On the street of your head. Perfectly placed.
Not even on the right spot. Holy cow.
All right, go ahead now. I'll turn the floor over.
Happy Monday. We'll start off with our YouTube poll. It's asking, in the midterm election, what outcome do you expect in the U.S. Senate? GOP 53 plus seats, GOP 51 or 52, 50-50 split remains, or Democrat majority. 12:25, we have a special guest, Abby Johnson. She'll be joining the show. She is a former Planned Parenthood director who turned into a pro-life advocate. I'm excited to hear her story. I believe she'll be speaking at the Vitae event, right?
Yep. Did you guys, any of you guys see him play?
I have not seen the movie yet.
Me
I listened to a podcast where she described her her story and how she changed. How it all started out as, I don't want to scoop anything here, but she started out as just severely, massively wanting to help women. And she thought the best way to do that would be through Planned Parenthood. And then working there, she found out maybe not.
When did the Unplanned come out? Not recently, March.
Pretty recently.
But
So
March,
this is
I want to say it was March 29th of this year.
I don't think I saw it.
Would it matter if it came out like 2 years ago that you would have seen it?
There was a movie that it reminded me of that came out when I was not here. I was working, I think, at Joy FM, and I thought maybe that was it. But
Release date March 29th, 2019. Pre-COVID.
okay.
Okay.
Wow, you were spot
Well,
on to March 29th.
Well, to do the show sheet, I have to look at the website to get information about it. And I remember seeing March 29th on there. So.
Wiggins America today, another poll. It'll be the least and most popular U.S. politicians and what that means for midterms.
You will be a little bit surprised by this, I think.
You want to talk about our other guest?
Our other guest will be Stephen Moore. He's a senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. And he's going to come in and talk to us about the economy. What he does every Monday, but it's always good. So stick around for that.
Ryan's going to do live in 22 seconds.
Oh, 20, okay.
22 seconds? Shouldn't it be? Well, okay. So 30?
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually it would be at 4. You guys can watch it too.
It's not too early to talk about Christmas, is it, Annie? She's saying nothing. It is not too early to talk about Christmas because I went to Andrea's to get a gift card on Wednesday of this week and realized actually it's almost time to start buying those for my Christmas gifts. So if you've never been there, I like to get them for people who haven't, because everybody who goes to Andrea's always ends up loving it and wanting to go back. If you've never been, it's in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. They do make the Andrea's steak sauce, their famous brush on steak sauce, right there on site. So a lot of
Okay. I had to mute Ryan's mic or else it was. Now we're live again.
yeah.
I think it's just because it's not. Like, are you saying because they said it sounded weird?
Yeah, but when they said that, I muted Ryan's mic so that it would be double this.
But the studio wasn't on there. They weren't. It just sounds weird because of the camera mics. I mute studio.
Both of them were just on during
your mic, the one that puts the broadcast through.
Yeah, that was on and that camera was on. So I turned
My camera and Ryan's camera are unmuted, but yours was muted unless somebody here unmuted it. Did someone try to unmute it? This is how we figure problems out as we go.
No.
Oh, well. Does it still sound weird? Folks, you let us know. Is that everything we need to cover? Or are we good?
Yeah. Even more. Abby Johnson, Reagan's America, Bull.
Yep, I like polls.
And Shock.
Does everybody tell you now? Am I on? It doesn't really matter. You can turn me off. I'm looking behind me. I'm looking at the screen to see what's behind me on the screen.
Polls.
Yeah.
GOP favorite on economy, border, and crime.
No kidding.
What else is new?
All right. Well, since we have dispersed onto random cameras and are no longer doing the pre-show, we will see. We're going to turn on the radio broadcast and we will see you on the radio. Thanks for being here today with us. We appreciate it.
Buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses. Even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
Fun in the sun is no fun at all without sunscreen. Just like reapplying sunscreen helps continue protection against the sun, a booster shot can help enhance protection against COVID-19 after a primary series vaccination. Schedule a booster appointment when eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Clement Auto Group is hosting another trunk or treat for the kiddos.
We're inviting all the listeners to bring their kids, the dogs, and trunk or treat with us on Saturday, October 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m.
Music, game, prizes, and most of all,
lots of candy for your kids.
Come out Saturday, October 22nd to Clement Pre-Owned in Florissant.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Back in August, there was some optimism. Majority said, well, okay, they're going down. But look at this. Now, 63% say gas prices are going up in their area. So I asked people, okay, well, let's turn to politics here. Who do you blame for this? What's the reason? Well, look, there's more folks now who say that Democratic policies have harmed the economy than helped it. It's not the only reason they see for this, but they're reasoning out of results, right? Yeah. They're feeling a pinch, parties in power, okay, must be doing something wrong. And then by contrast, they think, well, Republican policies more likely would help.
So it's pretty clear. Isn't the message pretty consistent and clear at this point? As we are approaching the election, the midterm election is finally going to be here in 22 days, and we'll have the decisive results of who does America trust at this point in time with the economy in their hands. I think that the first thing that you have to know is who identifies that the problem actually exists.
I'm not concerned about the defense of the dollar. I'm concerned about the rest of the world. Does that make sense? Yes. Our economy is strong as hell. The internal thing. Inflation is worldwide. It's worse off everywhere else than it is in the United States. So the problem is the lack of economic growth and sound policy in other countries, not so much ours. And that's how it's worldwide inflation. That's consequential.
So to what I hear the president saying, people are certainly keying in on his quote there that the economy is strong as hell. What he's saying is the world economy is in deep trouble right now. Inflation is a global issue. He's saying two things at the same time. He's saying two different statements that are conflicting with one another. If, in fact, you think that inflation on the American people is a bad thing, does he? He was looking like he was feeling pretty good, holding his ice cream cone. What? That's a political disaster if a Republican does it. If a Republican does anything casual and comments on the economy that is not in a good state for people to consume normal goods, to put gasoline in their car, to look at their 401ks, the retirement that they've been saving for. If the economy is not in a position for the average American tax-paying voter to go, yeah, I see it. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I have Democrat friends of mine, people who absolutely, they're disgusted by Donald Trump. Admit to me, my 401k is looking pretty good. And the economy is booming. And I got a raise at work. Or we got more competitive benefits at work. These are people who chose to acknowledge that things were doing pretty well under President Trump. Didn't mean that they voted for him. Didn't mean that they didn't vote against him, but they knew it. They saw it. They felt it. You think people don't feel what's going on right now? And do you think that if Donald Trump would have been casually eating ice cream in public, casually strolling up to the press that follows him around everywhere he goes, it's how the process works. Do you think that Donald Trump would get away with being that flippant? Of course he wouldn't. He didn't get away with being serious about issues. He didn't get away with actually doing good things for the economy and actually making it so that people who didn't even support him still felt the benefits of a Trump economy and of a Trump presidency. This is the luxury of living in the United States of America. We have it so good here that we can afford every, 20 years or so to dabble in the idea of socialism, dip our toe in it, and it takes not even 4 years for everyone to go, this is awful and ridiculous, put us back. Make America great again. Yeah, that's a good phrase. People understand what is going on in this country without watching the news. This isn't a political fight. The politicians who are trying to win elections in 22 days have a really tough task in front of them because they don't have the luxury of everything going well to try to take the extra money that you have in the bank. Think about this. If your savings account's feeling pretty good right now, or if it maybe was 5 years ago, if you got a little extra money in the bank, you can afford to do some things that maybe you usually wouldn't. That's what prosperity permits you to do. You are able to take a little bit bigger of a vacation. Maybe take a vacation for the first time. Maybe you're able to buy a nicer car. Maybe you're able to make some repairs around the home that normally in a situation like right now, you just let those go by the wayside because you cannot afford the increased prices on service, the increased prices on the new product that you need to put into your house. You can't afford it. You don't have the luxury right now in this Biden's America to be able to make those kinds of roomy, comfortable decisions. That's how people know. President Biden saying that the economy is as good as hell, and subsequently saying that inflation is a global problem. That is an acknowledgement that inflation exists and that inflation is a problem across the world. He knows that we have an inflation rate over 8%. He knows that. What he's not translating, what he's not understanding, or the worst, what he doesn't care about is how America withstands that 8% plus inflation rate that is affecting you. Do you feel better in this economy going, well, the whole world is experiencing inflation. In that case, I'm okay with this. Now that I know that everybody is dealing with this, I can breathe a sigh of relief. Of course not. That is insane. That's ridiculous. Does it frustrate you that the administration doesn't see this as a problem that you have to endure? Does it bother you that when gas goes down pennies, that the Biden administration rushes to a microphone and a camera to make sure that they get credit for that decrease? When it goes up, they're nowhere to be found. Oh, wait, unless they're going to blame OPEC or some foreign company or institution. It's never their fault when it goes bad, and it's always their credit when it goes in the direction that we want to see it go. Were you feeling pretty good about that, $3 gas if you were so lucky to get to $3? I never got to $3 gas anywhere that I was around. Were you feeling pretty good about that? Were you like, all right, everything's back to normal now? Of course you weren't. Americans across the country right now are scratching their heads going, how can this man be this out of touch? And in the midst of wondering how he can be this out of touch, he finds his way in front of another camera or microphone and says something like the economy is strong as hell. Nobody believes that. Stephen Moore will explain to us at 1:05 what maybe the president was trying to imply when he made that statement. How do you be the president of the United States? Have access to the best economists in the entire world who are advising you on what to do next to affect whatever the outcome that you're seeking to achieve? How do you reach that? It's important to understand that the economic outcome of the Biden administration, if it doesn't make sense to you folks, it might not be the same economic outcome that you are seeking. And that doesn't matter if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're conservative, if you're liberal, if you're black, if you're white, if you're a different race, if you're Christian, if you're not Christian, if you're gay, or if you're straight, or if you're transgender, if you're male or female, or whatever goes in between. None of that matters. The economy hits us all the same. It is the great equalizer. You want to talk about a president who wanted to create unity in this country? Congratulations, sir. You've done it. Because people of all walks of life, people of all shapes and sizes and creeds and emotions and feelings and political parties are saying this isn't working. And if you pay attention to how the majority of Democrats are running their races right now, they throw it all on the Republican and they say this Republican is too extreme. What they want you to hear, what the Democrats are running right now is not on policy, because their policies are probably, especially if they're local, the Democrats who are running right now, their policies are probably pretty conservative compared to what we're seeing from this overzealous Biden administration. So they can't put those policies out, because if they do, it's going to be a check on the Democratic Party. So instead of talking about what they will do should you choose to vote for them, there's almost a concession that is taking place at this point, 22 days out from the midterm election. And that concession is, I know you're thinking about voting for Republicans this time around. I know it's crossed your mind that the way this country is going isn't exactly what we hoped we would be achieving. I know there's a little pain at the pump, at the grocery store, in your savings account, in your retirement accounts. I know that you're feeling it right now. And I know the Democrats are in charge. I know that we all agreed that this is what was best. And don't forget, it absolutely still is what was best, because what did we stop when we voted for Joe Biden? Satan himself, Donald Trump. That was still worth it. But you need to know what you're considering doing should you put a Republican in office. You know what they want to do, and then they go straight to the issues that are the most extreme that I really have yet to see a Republican publicly pushing strongly to put abortion at the center of any conversation about how should you choose to give the Republicans power, they're going to disallow women to deliver babies the way that they want to. And they are going to make women have every baby that is conceived, and they don't care, and they're going to leave them to want and need afterwards, because Republicans don't care about babies. They only care about forcing women into labor. It's a pretty shallow argument as to why someone should vote for you. Because the campaigns that are out there right now for candidates who are pro-life, it's pretty easy to be pro-life when you look at where the spectrum is right now with Democrats in power. In the state of Illinois, when you understand that the Democrats who are in power right now, if you are somewhere on the pro-choice, pro-life spectrum that doesn't really solidly fall on pro-life, understand this. It was important for the Democrats in power in the state of Illinois. It was important for them to legislate in a way that made it legal for a woman to have an abortion the morning that she is to deliver. Do they do that? I don't know that that happens on any regular basis. So why in the world was it important for Democrats to ensure that it was legal? When I push back on someone and say, why is it that the Democratic Party in the state of Illinois wants to legalize abortion through the 9th month? The Democrat always says, Annie, nobody's doing that. Well, then why the hell do we have to legislate for it to be legal? Suggesting, like, let me even concede for a moment. I'll just give in to your point. We don't need to look up statistics. We don't need to look up any evidence or anything that's actually based in fact. Let me just completely give over to the point that you're making right here, where I say, why is it that the Democrats had to make a law in the state of Illinois? And believe you and me, they want to do this nationwide. Why is it that the Democrats wanted to make it legal for a woman to have an abortion at any single moment in her pregnancy? Your response to me is really going to be, that doesn't happen. Are we spending our tax dollars? Are we spending our tax dollars legislating the legality of things that don't happen? Now we have a taxpayer problem. If it doesn't happen, why was it so important to make it legal? If it doesn't occur, why is it so important to the Democratic Party to make sure that everybody understands that in Illinois, if you wanted to come here and you were underage, at any point in your pregnancy, you can get an abortion at any time in your pregnancy without permission from your parents, without notifying your parents that in Illinois, this is how much we love abortion. If it doesn't happen, folks, why'd we have to make it legal? I'd like to know. If it doesn't happen and you have these facts and you're telling me that this is not a safe argument against the Democrats and their obsession, their love affair with the idea of abortion, when do abortions actually stop? Because I've talked to a lot of OBGYNs about this issue. There is not a case where you need to kill the baby purposely to save the life of the mother. There are instances where you will have to induce labor early. And that child may have to fight for, yes, its life. You may have to induce labor early in an effort to protect the health of that mother, the life of that mother. I believe that should absolutely be the case. Decided upon between the mother and the doctor who are assessing the medical situation. But there's no instance where that baby needs to be dismembered in the body of the mother, where the baby's body needs to lose limb by limb its life in order to protect the life of the mother. That doesn't happen either. But here we are, Illinois Democrats who want to bring this to the entire country saying, let's do this nationwide. If it doesn't happen, stop legislating it and wasting taxpayer time and money to make it legal. Everybody knows what's going on right now in the economy. Everybody's attention is pivoting to this 22-day away midterm election to make a difference for themselves, selfishly, for themselves, for their families. That's what America is built on. And if the left wants to keep trying to say, but the Republicans are outrageous. No, sir. No, ma'am. The Democrats are outrageous. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to speak with Abby Johnson. She is a former Planned Parenthood director turned pro-life advocate. And on October 27th, she's going to be the keynote speaker at the Vitae annual St. Charles pro-life event. I will be the host, the MC there, so I will be there with her. Get your tickets at adsforlife.org to see her. But she's going to be on the Annie Frey Show here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk. When we come back, don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you are looking for the perfect piece of jewelry for this holiday season, maybe it's Valentine's Day that you're maybe preparing for. Maybe it's a spring anniversary, 6 months, same as cash at the Diamond Shop. Even if you were going to make a purchase now, you can kind of spread out the payments a little bit to make it a little more affordable for yourself. The Diamond Shop loves working with customers all across the education line when it comes to buying jewelry. If you are a first-time buyer, never purchased a piece of fine jewelry before in your life, the Diamond Shop is absolutely the right place for you. If you are an experienced buyer, if you've shopped around and you haven't given the Diamond Shop in Clayton an opportunity yet to earn your business, please consider doing so right now. These are the best people in the business. The Diamond Shop has been serving St. Louis since 1910. Give them the opportunity to win your clientele as well. They buy jewelry, buy gold. They do jewelry and watch repair, custom jewelry as well, and appraisals. All the details are online at thediamondshop.net.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey, you know, the heat doesn't matter. The rain doesn't matter. When it gets cold in a few months, the snow and sleet won't matter to the outside of my house because I have Rhino Shield. You've heard me say that before, but I'm just telling you, 15 years now, 15 years ago, before I was on this radio station, that's a long time ago, I signed up for Rhino Shield. Darren came over. He showed me this great product. I'm like, why would I worry about painting every couple of years when I could do this? And I did it, and I'm just as happy today as I was the day that I made that decision all those years ago, and I've still got 10 years left on a 25-year warranty. Think about that. How many products can you buy where you get that kind of guarantee? Call Darren and let him come over and give you a free estimate. If you're thinking about painting, stop. Put Rhino Shield on instead. 877-25-RHINO is the phone number. Still plenty of time to get scheduled for this summer, or go online to find out more at 877-25rhino.com.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the cars.
it. Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I worried, I went 3 times my body. I worried, I threw my fear around. But this morning, there's a calm I can't explain. The rock candy's melted, only diamonds now remain.
The fact is right now that we are under an extreme 15-week ban that limits healthcare options for women who need them. There's the potential for a complete ban. Right now, that ban is in the courts, but under my opponent's administration, she would support a full ban. She's called this a great law. She doesn't support any exceptions for rape or incest. Look, when you're talking about late-term abortion, that is incredibly, extremely rare. And it's happening if that conversation is happening, it's because there's something that's gone incredibly wrong in the pregnancy, and politicians do not belong in that decision.
So that is Katie Hobbs. And Katie Hobbs and Kari Lake are having quite a little knockdown drag out in Arizona. I go back to what I just said in this last segment. I live in the state of Illinois. J.B. Pritzker is vocally wanting to be the destination for people seeking abortion in this country. It makes me nauseous. It's the only people who are coming to Illinois are those who are swinging by for an abortion. Everybody else is leaving because the state is a disaster. In the state of Illinois, it's legal to get an abortion through all 9 months. And the Democrats continue to say over and over and over again, when you point that out, that very rarely happens. Or they say it never happens. Then why the hell did we have to legislate it to be so? Give me a break. I'm not buying what they're selling. Somebody who knows what's been sold on this issue, somebody who has seen things that you and I have likely, hopefully, never seen before, but has made a drastic change and used her voice in order to speak a very clear reality into the conversation about abortion, is Abby Johnson. She's a former Planned Parenthood director. She's now a pro-life advocate, and she will be joining me. I'll be the MC, and she is the keynote speaker at the October 27th St. Charles annual pro-life event. You can get your tickets at adsforlife.org to learn more and hear more for Abby Johnson, but we're very grateful that she's here with us today. Abby, thank you so much for coming back on the show with us. Good to have you here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
You know, what's the first thing? I can set up a question for you and kind of guide you, but you know how to do this. You know what you speak on when it comes to this issue. What's the number one thing that you wish people would understand about abortion in this moment in time?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's just one thing, but I think there's a lot of things. I mean, I think as you were saying, there's a lot of people that just don't understand the legality of abortion right now. I think there's a lot of people who have a misunderstanding about, what's actually taking place right now. Abortion is not illegal across the country. The media has made it, appear that that's the case. The media has made it appear that abortion is, late-term abortion is only happening in, these severe fetal anomalies or where, women's lives are on the line, which we know is not true. Even the Guttmacher Institute came out and said, no, that's not true. The Guttmacher Institute, of course, is, Planned Parenthood's research arm, so they are very pro-abortion. And they even came out and said, no, the majority of women having late-term abortions, so we're talking about abortions and, 7th, 8th, 9th month of pregnancy, these women are having abortions because they don't have the money. They feel like they don't have the money to have a child because their boyfriends left them because of, social reasons, whatever. They're not having abortions because they feel like their life is on the line or anything like that. And people just don't want to believe the truth about abortion. They want to believe that abortion is done in these like sterile, clean, that it's like this bloodless procedure. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, abortion is a terrible, graphic, gory procedure that involves baby body parts, babies being put together, babies being born alive many times. And I just feel like people really need to open their eyes, wake up, and understand what's happening, the horrors that are happening in, 800 abortion facilities across this country.
Abby Johnson with us right now. You can learn more at abbyj.com is her website, on Twitter at Abby Johnson. Abby, people say in many cases that, babies are a clump of cells. I don't know that scientifically there's ever this understanding that they're a clump of cells until this point in the pregnancy, and then they turn into a real baby. In your experience as being a director at a Planned Parenthood, what can you tell us about the reality of the presence of a baby, a human life?
I mean, it's the reality is that at the moment of conception, so I mean, when sperm meets egg, at that moment, and actually a cool thing is that through science, there's actually something called the spark of life that scientists have been able to see through, in vitro and things like that. And there's actually there's a literal spark that takes place when that moment of sperm and egg meet. And so there's really something spectacular that happens inside of the womb when a new life is created. And so, there's life. There's life. There's human DNA. It's always a human being. It's always a life. That heartbeat begins to beat regardless of what Stacey Abrams says. There is a heartbeat there at 3 weeks post-conception. There is not an abortion that takes place before 3 weeks conception. Every single abortion is killing a child with a heartbeat. And that should be something that really stirs all of us to a place of action, that these are human beings, scientifically human beings, that are being killed, innocent human beings. There's never been a time in history where it has been acceptable for another human to kill an innocent human being, except in cases of abortion.
It's so important for that to be said over and over and over again. Abby, you've been in conversations I've seen on Twitter where you stand up and you speak what you know to be true in Twitter, which is a cesspool in and of itself. Yeah. What do you think? Like, what's the frustration that you may have as somebody who knows so much about how Planned Parenthood specifically works? I mean, I live in Illinois, right across the river from St. Louis. In Fairview Heights, Illinois, Planned Parenthood established like a Mecca Planned Parenthood so that people from all the states in the Midwest could come right there, easy access on the highway to get their abortion and then turn around and go home. What is the point that you feel like in the political tug and pull of an election cycle, the point that people are missing, maybe even on both sides, when it comes to effectively defining life and advocating for the unborn?
So, honestly, I think that people are really missing what abortion is, and that is that it is child sacrifice. And I feel like that Christians are really, really missing the point here of what abortion is. And I think that, those of us who are Christians, we read the Bible and we look back at, scripture in the Old Testament. We're like, oh my gosh, people were sacrificing their babies on these altars to Molech and Baal. So terrible, right? And we just can't imagine people doing that. And oh my gosh, they're sacrificing their children for wealth and for success and blah, blah, blah. Hi, that's exactly what people are doing today, right? It is 100% child sacrifice today. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. This is not new. This is the same spirit of child sacrifice happening today. People sacrificing their innocent human children for success, for wealth, for education, for careers. And we just call it something more palatable. We call it abortion. We call it choice. We call it reproductive justice. We call it, whatever, health care. But it is the same spirit of death. It is that same spirit of child sacrifice. And one thing that I wish people understood was that we have got to be more bold as a nation, as people, as Christians, as conservatives. The liberal movement is never worried about offending us. They are never worried about sticking their agenda in our face, ramming it down our throats. But we are sitting here going, well, we don't want to offend anybody. You know what? I don't care if I offend people. I don't care if I'm offending people because I know that the words that I am speaking are truth. And we have got to stop worrying about offending people and start worrying about speaking truth everywhere that we go.
Abby, that's such a great point. And, people lauding your comments here, your boldness, your podcast is Politely Rude, which probably follows a bit of what you're talking about right here. It's time to speak straight to the issue and to really be bold in the way that we talk and support life. I think that one of the casual things, specifically from what I've experienced as an Illinois resident and taxpayer, is the advocates for abortion in this state. They want to make sure that women feel welcomed in Illinois. They want to advocate that women have a safe place in the state of Illinois. As somebody who worked as a director in Planned Parenthood at one point in your life, did you find the women to feel empowered when they left Planned Parenthood?
No. And in fact, I consider myself a secular feminist for, strong secular feminist for 8 years of my life, going to all the rallies, doing all the political stuff, right? But looking back on that time, there is never a time where I can remember, and this is me sitting across the desk from thousands and thousands of women who came into our facility. There's never a time where I sat across that desk from a woman and feel like I really empowered her in her decision, right? Because the reality was that she came into that clinic scared, not knowing what to do, feeling hopeless, feeling like, she was really looking for an option, possibly looking for an alternative. Maybe she was going to be a single mom. And she looked at me and said, I don't know. I think if I have this baby, I'm going to be a single mom. And my answer to her ultimately was, well, you know what? You're not strong enough to do that. You're not strong enough to be a single mom. You're not tough enough to do it on your own. You're not strong enough to overcome this difficult circumstance in your life. So the only thing that I have to offer you is to kill your child. I'm not going to be here to offer you support. I'm not going to be here to help you get on any programs that can help you. I'm not going to walk by your side. I'm not going to accompany you through this. I'm not going to help you. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kill your baby. Or maybe she said, well, I'm just scared that if I have this baby, I'm not going to finish my education. I'm not going to be able to finish my education. And my answer to her was, oh, you're right. You're not tough enough to do that. You're not tough enough. You're not smart enough to be able to finish your education and have a baby. So here, let me kill your baby for you so that you can finish your education. Abortion happens when women feel weak. And the abortion industry is predatory. They are a predatory industry. That's what they always have been. That's what they always will be. Women's empowerment does not happen inside of those abortion clinic walls.
Abby Johnson, it's as if the pro-choice movement says that there's only one choice and Planned Parenthood is there to take your money to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Your choice is removed when you walk inside of an abortion clinic. And that's exactly what we heard from Congresswoman Cori Bush, right? Who recently came out and said that she was forced to have an abortion. Yet this woman is still a champion for abortion rights and abortion clinics, even though she herself says that she was forced to have an abortion as a young Black woman.
Yeah. Abby, your voice is vital, to use a very specific word, for the furthering of people waking up to what is really going on. You're going to be in St. Louis, in St. Charles, October 27th at the Vitae event. I'm going to be hosting that event, and I can't wait to meet you and for the people to come hear your message. Thank you for doing what you do. You're speaking very, very boldly, and it's the only way that we are going to continue to further The realization that women are empowered when they choose life. You do a fantastic job of it. We're grateful that you're here today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Abby. Abby Johnson. Go to abbyj.com. Check out her podcast, Politely Rude. And if you are so inclined, go thank her for coming on and speaking about that here at Abby Johnson on Twitter. Tell her thank you. I'm going to play Cori Bush's statement. I don't think that we really delved into that here on this show. We'll play that a little bit later on. We'll do that at 1:25. We'll get back to Cori Bush and what she said in an interview about her abortion experience, because Abby is exactly right. Cori Bush affirmed everything she was just saying, and it is tragic. My heart goes out to Cori Bush and that experience. We'll be back in just a minute with more Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
And I will wait to find
22 years of questioning the narrative. It's our birthday week. Thanks for making 97.1 FM Talk your home for conservative talk.
Well, let me tell you about something very exciting here on a Monday afternoon. It's going to the dentist. And if you think that's a joke, my kids are actually excited. They're going this Wednesday, and we're all going there because we all got appointments together because they make it very easy to get an appointment at Fountains Family Dentistry. Dr. Ty Parker and their staff are also very nice, and they will make it easy on you, especially on your schedule, being open late some days and early some days. Here's what they do beyond just cleaning your teeth. They do general dentistry, of course. They do cosmetic dentistry, dental implants or dentures if you're at that point in your life, or root canals and oral cancer screening, things that you need to get done, but maybe you've been pushing it off. Maybe you haven't gone since COVID. They're not going to be judgmental there. Like I said, very, very nice staff and easy to get to no matter where you are, just off of Highway 64 in Fairview Heights. So whether you live in Illinois or in Missouri, they make it easy on you at Fountains Family Dentistry in every possible way. So get an appointment with them, give them a call, and they'll work with you to get you in. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brenton at 314-375-2020 or go online to BrentonVision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it. You can have that same experience with Brenton Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brenton. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brenton Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at BrentonVision.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Business is difficult right now, putting a lot of good workers at risk. If you're a business that needs flexibility with your workforce and don't want to lose your best employees, go to sharedwork.mo.gov and see what the Missouri Department of Labor can do for you.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I always enjoy telling our customers about our jewelry and how special it is. Like our cultured pearls. And right now, pearls are more popular than ever. Pearl strands, drop earrings, pearl rings, worn stacked and layered, everyone's wearing them. Did you know that a pearl takes 2 to 3 years to form inside a mollusk? It takes on the color of the nacre, the interior of the shell. So a lavender nacre will produce a lavender pearl. At Shane Company, our pearls are known for their beautiful luster. They're in their natural colors and never dyed. We source them directly from pearl farmers around the world. And we string our pearl strands with an individual knot between each pearl for extra security. Visit us today or chat with us online. We don't work on commission, so you'll never feel rushed or pressured. Whether you come in for a new on-trend pearl necklace or a diamond engagement ring, we'll educate you about our jewelry, so you'll leave feeling like an expert.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Just got home from Illinois, locked the front door, oh boy. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. Imagination sets in, pretty soon I'm singing. Looking out my back door. This giant doing cartwheels, statue wearing high heels. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Dinosaur controller, listening to Buck Owens. Looking out my back door. Marines and elephants.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Man, if you missed it, we just spoke with Abby Johnson, former Planned Parenthood director, turned pro-life advocate. What an amazing, I guess, testimony that she has from her experience. She gives it to you straight. I mean, there's no like softening the blow, and that's kind of what her message is. Please consider, if you download that Odyssey app, if you've got it already and you've already followed 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app, rewind to about 12:30. That's when we started our conversation with her. Man, it might be one that I go back and listen to just so I can make sure I soak it all in as a listener and not as somebody who's trying to formulate, how do I get more out of this woman who's giving so much intel about what she has experienced in her life. It's so important. We got Ryan Wiggins in here.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Well, hello and good Monday afternoon to you all.
Good morrow.
Thank you. Does that mean good tomorrow?
No.
It's a good day then.
Tomorrow is tomorrow. Morrow is today.
I bid you good morrow.
Good morrow, sir.
I've got some polls here, not your typical state by state that we've been looking at, but more of an overall look at the midterms and how these kind of things may shine a light on what overall is going to happen. I've got a list here of the least popular and, by default, most popular politicians in the United States of America. At the very top of that list are two names that I would expect to be there, but they surprise me that they are the absolute bottom, I guess, of the least liked. These are the two names that are the least liked, and they're tied. Ready for it? Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. They are the top two most disliked politicians.
That doesn't surprise me because they've been there so long. So people have been able to work up a distaste for them.
That's true. Yeah, they've had a long career, and they've had a lot of time to get a lot of things done that their own party is frustrated that they didn't.
The interesting thing about both of those individuals is that they are incredibly effective at what they do for their party. You can dislike them for a lot of reasons, but if you understand that their adherence is strictly to their party and what's best for the overall cause, they both have the cojones to do it.
The common theme among the rest of this list is interesting. I'll read the names and I'll give you their negative numbers. So Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell were negative 22 overall. Joe Manchin, Hillary Clinton, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Chuck Schumer, all at negative 12 to negative 15.
Did you name it? Which Republican did you just name?
Just Mitch McConnell so far.
Yeah, so everything you just named was Democrat.
All Democrats.
Are they all the lowest, or did you just pick the Democrats?
No, I'm reading them from least liked to so these are the least liked.
So the Democrats are coming up behind.
They're all coming up behind.
Holding down the rear.
Now, hang on now. So here's the next three. Kamala Harris, Kirsten Sinema, and Joe Biden.
He's just reading my diary. Dear diary.
Right?
I'm going to list people I don't like in order.
Those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9 most disliked politicians in the United States.
And what's this place? What's the resource?
This is Harvard. It's a Harvard poll. Yeah. So this isn't Trafalgar. This isn't even.
Is this Stelter?
where he went.
Is this Stelter's diary?
Yeah, this is Stelter's diary. But isn't that amazing? Those are the top 9 right there. And I stopped there not because you get a Republican next, but just because those were the most well-known names. You get down into some of these names. I'll read you the top 3 too.
Yeah, where's Donald Trump?
So hang
I know,
on.
I'm surprised.
Donald Trump is a weird one in this, okay? So the most liked politicians in the U.S. Number 1, Ron DeSantis.
I agree with
I'm
that.
not shocked.
I was just going to say that.
Right?
This is my diary.
Hey, number 2, though, Mike Pence.
Yeah, I'm not shocked about that.
I like Mike Pence.
And then-
Sorry, everybody, I'm sorry.
Well, apparently you're not because
I like Trump
a lot
too.
of people
It's
do.
very conflicting, but I do like them both.
And then then you get Tim Scott at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
He's going to be a president one day.
Oh, I
you
think so.
Put it on the board.
we'll mark the tape,
Mm-hmm.
but only because I want to prove you wrong. I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think you or I will be here when that happens.
Okay,
It's
all
just
right.
another prediction.
So,
I think I will.
You just think we're gonna die?
It's going to be the
really
Hannah.
soon, is what
yeah,
you're.
this is going to be the Hannah Boop show, and you can pull a tape and boop one of us.
What's going on with that boob show? So Tim Scott, though, the reason I hesitate to mention him is because he's actually pretty low on the recognizability. People, yes, they have a favorable opinion of him, but not a lot of people knew who he was in this poll. In the middle, though, right at 0. So this is right down the center. Donald Trump.
That makes sense.
Bernie Sanders.
That makes sense.
Ted Cruz.
That makes sense.
They all had net even.
I would say, though, that means that they are all very polarizing figures. I bet if you took all of the factors that go into getting that rating, it'd be a pretty broad spectrum. Love and hate on all of them.
Yeah.
No.
I actually respect Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has always been Bernie. I think he's a political kook. But Bernie has been Bernie when the Democratic Party has said, nope, we're going this direction. And they kind of jumped the shark with it. Let's take a break, see even more on the inflation when we come back.
Are you or someone you know seeking help for a substance use disorder in Franklin County? Prevent Ed's free peer support service can connect clients with the medication-assisted treatment provider. Our certified peer specialists guide you through the process and ensure transportation to appointments and to pick up medication. Clients can generally be seen by a treatment provider in 24 to 36 hours. Access this free service at 314-246-9788 or at prevented.org/peers.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
The amazing Fall for All event is going on right now at Genesis of St. Charles. So if you need an excuse, you've heard me talking about it, you need an excuse to visit them, now's the time. You'll get an amazing luxury experience with a Genesis, and you'll get a great deal because it's Genesis of St. Charles. And you can get the exact Genesis model you want, which is really fun. That's kind of a thing that's happened in the COVID era, is that you can order the car that you want. And that wasn't always the case before, but they do have great inventory, higher than anybody else in the St. Louis area at Genesis of St. Charles. So if you want to drive one, that's the place to go to. Check out the Motor Trend SUV of the year, the GV70, at the amazing Fall for All event at Genesis of St. Charles. Their location is in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom, so don't look for the Genesis sign, look for St. Charles Hyundai and go in there and talk to them about Genesis. Of course, you can also visit them online at genesisofstcharles.com. And in fact, that's probably the best way to start right now at genesisofstcharles.com.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House calls it escalation. Lisa Brady, Fox News, reacting to deadly Russian drone strikes on Ukraine's capital.
The United States strongly condemns Russia's missile strikes today, which continue to demonstrate Putin's brutality.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre reiterating the president's pledge to keep supporting the Ukrainian people, but sidestepping a question on whether the war is entering a new phase. The EU says it's gathering evidence of Iranian-made drones used in Ukraine. Iran has denied supplying weapons to Russia. His spokeswoman also defending the president's midterm strategy, saying he's been on the road nonstop, talking about delivering on promises and taking inflation seriously, though he hasn't been holding campaign rallies for midterm candidates the way Presidents Trump and Obama did. Early voting begins in 9 more states this week, including Georgia today. In Pennsylvania, there's a new legal fight over mail-in ballots.
With some 3 weeks to go before Election Day, Pennsylvania officials are being sued by the state and national Republican parties over what's on mail-in ballot envelopes. This after the acting Pennsylvania Secretary of State said last week that every county is supposed to include undated ballots in official returns consistent with guidance from the Department of State. Republicans say the state's mail-in voting law requires voters to date the outer envelope. Democrats have argued throwing out a ballot for lacking a proper date violates a voter's civil rights, and that those ballots are supposed to be postmarked and time-stamped by the receiving county.
Fox's Lillian Wu. A federal jury in Virginia now has the case against a Russian national accused of lying to the FBI in connection with the anti-Trump Steele dossier. The trial stems from a special counsel's investigation into the origins of the Russia probe. The Dow's up more than 600 points now. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Rx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare. What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Simply, it is a cold afternoon for the middle of October across St. Louis. Lots of sun, windy, 49-50, so it feels colder than that caught in the wind. Freeze warning for the overnight hours, 25 for the low. Temperatures tumble this evening. Tuesday, sunny, cold, windy again, 49-50, and then 25 again Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunny and 52. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Overall, inflation was 2% over the last 3 months. That's down from 11% over the prior 3 months. That's progress.
It could be another easy 20%.
Joe Biden's approval rating on inflation, rising costs, as you say, among independents is 21%. Everybody knows which party controls Washington right now.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
Boy, is it going to be cold this evening. You've been hearing the reports. It was cold last night. It's going to be freezing tonight, literally freezing temperatures. Scrolling through my phone, 30 degrees. That's going to be cold. Is your furnace working? Well, have you turned it on yet? If you've been holding out this long, chances are you do need to get that furnace up and running. this afternoon to make sure your house can withstand that cold. How do you make sure that it's in good working order? Well, you reach out to Air Comfort Service and you have them come check it out. They can provide you the tune-up that you need. If any maintenance is in order, they can help you with that as well. And this helps prolong the life of your furnace that you have right now. It's very important that you have this done. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. They can help you also with commercial furnace repairs if you need them. So reach out to them for that, 314-513-0091. Ask them about their rebate opportunities, their financing opportunities. They're going to help you through the whole process. All the details online, aircomfortservice.com.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-6000 today. That's 314-328-6000, and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
Hi, this is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Leaving your ash trees unprotected from the emerald ash borer may lead to an unforeseen rapid decline in their health. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Senator, do you accept the criticism that the American Rescue Plan passed in early 2021 contributed to the current inflation issue we're dealing with now?
No, I don't. Inflation right now, as I'm sure you know, Chuck, is an international problem.
So that mirrors what we heard President Biden say when he was sharing some of his time with us and his ice cream. And he said that the economy is as good as hell and that the rest of the world has a problem with the inflation. His concern is everybody else, but not us. Boy, that makes me feel like he's not too terribly concerned about the actual reality, the experience of the American taxpayer and, yes, voter right now, because it does feel like hell. Not as good as hell. You know who's watching this? Our friend Stephen Moore, the senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks, author of the book of Zilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Stephen Moore, I hope you didn't bump your head when you fell off your chair hearing the president say that the economy was good as hell.
Yeah, I am rubbing my head right now. There's a big bump on there. Let me address the first issue, Annie, about the international inflation. So, most currencies in the world are directly or indirectly tied to the dollar. So when we have inflation, and there's a good reason for that, because for almost 40 years since Reagan came into office, we didn't have inflation. We had a solid, stable currency. So all the other countries of the world wanted to get a stable currency, so what they did was peg to the dollar. And it was a smart strategy. In fact, even China did that. And that was a way of preventing runaway inflation. What's happened in the last 2 years is, as Biden has allowed inflation to get out of control in the United States, it means that every other currency is now facing inflation. But the problem started here. And so once we bring our inflation down, guess what's going to happen to the inflation rate in the rest of the world? It's going to fall as well. Now, there are always certain countries that have, major problems like Venezuela or something, and they'll have, specific problems. But and the proximate cause of this runaway inflation is, of course, the $4 trillion spending and borrowing and money printing that we've done. And the chickens are coming home to roost. And I warned about this, Annie, on your show 15, 16 months ago. I said, you can't spend $2 trillion and then another trillion and then another trillion and another $500 billion and think that it's not going to cause inflation. Of course it is. And so my only question is, when Republicans take control of Congress, and I think they will, it's almost a certainty, will they take a chainsaw to this budget and get rid of the hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of waste, fraud, abuse, duplication? There's so much we could save by just having a more fiscally responsible budget. Biden has no interest in that whatsoever. And it seems like they want waste. There was a Kevin Brady, he's a minority member of the House Ways and Means Committee. He put out this report finding hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud in the unemployment insurance program. And he called on the Democrats, why don't we have a special investigative committee? Instead of maybe investigating January 6th, why don't we investigate the hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that have been stolen from unemployment insurance and food stamps and Medicaid? And the Democrats said, no, we don't want to investigate that.
Man, the change, midterm's 22 days away. When the new Congress takes office at the beginning of January, there's going to be a huge amount of opportunity for these Republicans, specifically in the House, to get to work. It's not going to be signing bills that the president is, or passing bills that the president is going to sign. But there is a lot that these Republicans can do if they're given that authority.
Well, you know what the first thing they need to do? The very first thing they need to do, and actually I've talked to Kevin McCarthy about this. He's going to be the new Speaker of the House, and he's on board. We got to get rid of the funding for those 87,000 new IRS agents. I mean, that's outrageous. And, I see a lot of Republicans around the country are running TV ads against Democrats who voted for that. What a shame that they would want to double the size of the IRS and double the number of audits on normal people like you and me. No. I can't go for that.
Congressman Mike Boss was in an event that he's from right across the river in Illinois, at an event that I was at a couple weeks ago. And he was saying, as part of that commitment to America, the House controls the purse strings. Yes. And in the event that the Republicans take the House, as they're expected to do, they're going to defund the IRS agents.
Yeah, we'll see. Look, I'm not a rah-rah Republican, Annie. I mean, sometimes they disappoint us too. So they made promises. Let's see if they keep those promises. I want to see, as Reagan say, trust but verify.
Absolutely. And we know what the Democrats are doing. So it's time that the Republicans get elected and then are held accountable by their voters, for sure. We're speaking with Stephen Moore with FreedomWorks.
That Pete Buttigieg, you played that little clip from Pete Buttigieg, who's the transportation secretary who wants to be president someday. And, I laugh because he was asked the same question. Do you think that the Inflation Reduction Act isn't working? Oh, no, it's working just great. Even though we've had 7 straight months of 8% inflation. Oh, it's no problem at all. We're solving all these problems. And he's the one who's supposed to be dealing with supply chain problems. you can't get if you tried to get a rental car, or if you tried to get even a new car, you go to a new car showroom, there are no new cars. They're not. There's nothing to buy. You have to wait 6 to 9 months to buy a car. We went in, my wife and I went, I'm not making this up, Annie. We went in, because our car was getting kind of old. We need a new one. And we go in there and we said, do you have any new cars? They said, no, but we'll buy your car.
Ooh, that's how bad they want them. So I guess it's kind of the way houses are as well. It's hard to find houses. Inventory is still incredibly low, but the market just seems to be quite silly. Let's see, I'm going to read to you from a Fox News report here, and it's all about naming the economic situation when right now. The Fox News headline is Biden economic advisor suggests definition of recession, but says that areas have not been flashing red. He goes on to say, we have an unemployment rate that is 3.5%. There's no recession that would prevail with that kind of unemployment rate. We're obviously adding hundreds of thousands of jobs per month. We have consumers who still have pretty strong balance sheets. We still have job vacancies. We actually think the probability for a soft landing is good. What's your reaction to Mr. Bernstein's comments there?
Well, I've known Jared for years, and he's not a very good economist. But here's the point about this. First of all, family finances are good. Did he say that?
Yeah, he said that we actually think they're strong
country?
balance sheets.
In what country? I mean, Americans' savings have been depleted. We just had a report. It's on the front page of the New York Post, that the average family has lost about $34,000 in their 401k plans because of the high inflation. So what does he talk? These people, when they talk like that, they seem so completely out of touch with real Americans. We've lost $4,000 in wages and salaries. We've lost $34,000 in our lifetime savings, and they say our balances are pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for people living in Washington.
It's a privilege thing, I think, and I don't think they don't understand how detached they are. I mean, you got to probably feel pretty good right now because you've been calling this shot for quite some time. Here we are, not even 2 years into President Biden's presidency. The things that you said were going to happen have happened, maybe even worse so than you foresaw. What do you think happens next with the Republican majority in the House and maybe even the Senate? Do you foresee any of this being a softer landing once the Republicans get some authority back?
Well, first of all, I never root against America, so I want America to be prosperous. I don't root against this. When you say I'm happy about this, no, I'm not happy. I'm infuriated actually that we took an economy that the Biden people were all over the Sunday talk shows yesterday saying, we took over and it was a disaster and we had to come through with all these trillions of spending to rescue the economy. No, they didn't. No, they didn't, Annie. The economy in the last 6 months Trump was in office grew by almost 20%. What are they talking about? We had the vaccine coming out just when Biden was coming in. So everything was set up for a ferocious expansion. And instead, they spent money, they borrowed money, they increased regulation, they repealed so many of Trump's, they canceled pipelines. I mean, Annie, can you point to one positive thing he's done for the economy?
No, none. And the Inflation Reduction Act is like the Inflation Induction Act. And you've got a Biden economic advisor saying that tax credits to weatherized homes will help reduce inflation by next year. So I got to go spend a bunch of money on the transitionary goal of Pete Buttigieg and the rest of this green energy centered administration in order to benefit the economy. I just don't see how it works out for me and my family.
And the other funny one, and I got to jump in a minute, but I watched a little bit of this debate between, which is in Georgia, between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. And Warnock is the incumbent, and obviously Herschel is the challenger. And he challenged in the debate. He said, "Well, how can you, in good conscience, vote for these trillions and trillions of dollars of spending? It's causing inflation." And Warnock said, "Oh no, we're bringing down the price of insulin." I'm like, oh, gee, that's a great response to our 8.5% inflation.
Well, you've been in touch, Stephen. We appreciate your time. We'll let you go.
With you.
Yep.
Yeah,
talk to you again soon.
Cavalry is coming
in November. We were waiting for it. Thank you so much, Stephen Moore. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks, at Stephen Moore on Twitter. He jumps on our show every Monday, and we're really grateful for that because he does have a lot of other places to be. And one of them that he makes time for is you. Right here on the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. He knows it, you know it, and we are grateful for it. Did you know that we're celebrating? Yesterday was the 22nd birthday of 97.1 FM Talk.
That's great. I did not know that.
Hannah,
I know.
97.1 is older than you.
Whoa.
Yes. We've got people who were born after the station running the show here at 97.1. That is very cool. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the 2 o'clock hour as well, including, we've decided this on the last break. We decided, somebody it was Joe, I think, on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Come join us there on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're going to vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We're going to talk about that too here in just a second. Said, which politician would you like to boop? And so we started talking about
who's the most boopable politician.
So if you don't know the backstory of the boop on the Annie Frey Show, I'm going to get Ryan Wiggins in here and Brad. We're going to explain where boop comes from. And if you're like, Annie, what are you talking about? You got to stay right here, because when we come back, we're going to be booping all over the place. And we're going to
B-O-O-P.
Boop. Or whatever. Tune into the Annie Frey YouTube Live. You might not want to miss this. Maybe you will, but it's kind of one of those things like a train wreck. You can't look away. And we're happy to be here for you. The YouTube live chat poll today, in the midterm election, what outcome do you expect in the United States Senate? GOP with 53 plus seats, GOP 51 or 52, a 50-50 split, or a DEM majority? We'll be right back.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
For amber waves of green.
97.1 has you covered on election night. Hosted by Mark Reardon, plus expert takes from 97.1 political insiders throughout the evening. Your home for conservative talk. Decision 2022. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
So we just talked to Abby Johnson, who is a former Planned Parenthood director, pro-life advocate now. Just had her on the show less than an hour ago. You can rewind on the Odyssey app to hear Abby Johnson talking some straight talk about the abortion industry and what she wants people to know. On the Odyssey app, go to 12:30 and you'll hear my conversation with Abby. But if you want to meet her, and if I would love to meet you, that would be so cool. I'm excited to meet Abby. She's coming to town on October 27th to the annual St. Charles pro-life event. And please, please, please sign up now and get your tickets so that you can hear more of her message. And I would love to have the opportunity to meet you as well. You have to go to adsforlife.org to get your tickets reserved for the St. Charles event. It is October 27th. It's a Thursday. And we'll hang out together. I'm going to invite the show to come too, I believe, and they've been to ones before. So if you want to come see us and support an amazing cause, this is the one to do it. Go to adsforlife.org.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Mark Cox here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters, WhiskeyDickerson.com. They design and produce a line of Patriot-approved apparel right here in St. Louis. Visit WhiskeyDickerson.com to find their great designs. You can shop Ultra MAGA, Let's Go Brandon, and even 97.1 FM Talk. If you like your whiskey, your Second Amendment, and the freedom to live life on your own terms, check them out at WhiskeyDickerson.com.
The best conversations happen at the kitchen table. So I'm bringing the table to you.
All around our communities, Ann Wagner is meeting with us and hearing our concerns.
Public servants need to listen to you, not the liberal mob. People care about kitchen table issues, like the skyrocketing prices of groceries and gas. And now Biden has you paying for someone else's college loans. Let's stop their madness.
This year, Biden's inflation is costing your home over $10,000. Ann Wagner has seen the harm it's brought to Missouri families firsthand. She knows you work too hard to have your tax dollars wasted by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. That's why Ann has a long record of cutting your taxes and fighting the Democrats' out-of-control spending.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message to give you a seat at the table.
Common sense conservative, Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
I'm at a party I don't want to be at, and I don't ever wear a
Annie Frey on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. When you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Yeah, I always feel like I'm nobody. Who wants to fit in anyway?
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. To make it explicitly clear, St. Louis is home for conservative talk. In a little bit, in the 2 o'clock hour, the 2 o'clock hour is filling up very rapidly. We're going to talk about the most boopable politicians, our Mount Rushmore. How did we phrase it off the air?
The Mount Rushmore of politicians who you'd most like to boop.
Okay, so we will define what it means to boop somebody in a little bit. So you're going to want to stick around for that. If that doesn't keep you around here, I don't know what's going to. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this Cori Bush situation, this interview that Cori Bush did that we never really talked about on this show. And the reason why it didn't come up on this show previously is because right after the interview aired, I didn't feel like I had enough time based on the news of the day to really give it its due. And I didn't want to pick off Cori Bush. Because if you hear Cori Bush, I know that you have a visceral reaction to that. Some of you love Cori Bush. A lot of you don't. This interview and listening, it broke my heart. And so I want to treat it with the respect that it's due. Before we get to that, and I'm going to play this sound here for you in just a minute. Brad, you were listening to the Abby Johnson conversation. You said you've listened to a podcast, so you had a little context to her before. What'd you think about that?
I love her boldness and her plain speak. She doesn't really pull any punches. And the thing about it that to me really hits home is she was on the inside. She knows what's really going on. And so whenever she speaks with that boldness, whenever she speaks with that about abortion, she's speaking from a place of experience. She knows what she told them, what she thought she was doing that was good, and what she's come to find out. It's like, hey, this actually isn't good, and this is actually really bad. And I really like the whole empowering women thing, how she said that it is presented as empowerment, and what we tell them is, you can't do this. Let me kill your baby.
Yeah. Hannah, you said you were really looking forward to hearing what she had to say.
Yes, I was in that interview. I don't know what I was expecting, but what we got was really powerful, and it was very, very sad. I want to listen to it again just because there was so much information and, perspective in that one thing. But that was hard to, hear. She said something about how every single abortion, is like every single baby that has been aborted has a heartbeat. Like there's not some that don't. Every single one has a heartbeat, and that, really puts things into perspective. And she called abortion how it's a predatory industry. It's true, and it's chilling. And that was a heavy interview, but really impactful.
Ryan, you were listening to it as well. What were your thoughts on Abby Johnson, who was with us at 12:30 today on the show?
She really went in on some of the spiritual components, which I enjoy hearing. I also, the way she does it, Brad, you kind of said this, the way she talks about all these things, but spiritual stuff too. In a way, some people who do that, they can turn people off, and maybe she did too. But she's speaking so candidly, and she's not trying to be a shock jock either. Because there are people who do that. There are people who try to speak so inflammatory about something that they drive your emotions. She's just speaking so plainly truthful about the issue that it can't not drive you emotionally. So I really appreciated that and the whole spiritual conversation that she had.
She was talking about, to what Brad brought up, my question to her was, the state of Illinois and their abortion at any single point in the pregnancy. Democrats said it's important to make abortion legal at any time in the pregnancy. I point that out to people because to me that seems a little extreme. I point that out to people who are supportive of that, and their response to me is that never happens. Why the heck are we legislating and making legal things that don't happen? Of course it's happened. May not be the most common occurrence of it, but it happens. And Democrats in the state of Illinois and in other places want that to be legal. The messaging behind why they want it to be legal is because they say it is empowering to women and that it's nobody else's business what women do with their bodies. Listening to Abby Johnson answer the question, I ask Abby, you're the director of a Planned Parenthood. You were the director of a Planned Parenthood. Were they empowering women? She said, absolutely not. To Brad's point, that is the opposite of what they do. And the truth is that when they come in there and they sit across the desk from Abby Johnson, she's saying, you can't finish school if you have this baby. You can't afford to raise a child. You're going to be on your own. What I can do for you is I can take your baby. She cited the interview that Cori Bush gave talking about Cori Bush's abortion.
So I thought I was ready. And I went in and I went through all the steps because they were like, it's almost like an assembly line. You go from room to room. And I got into the last room. I was helped up onto the table by the nurse. And I laid there and I started to think, well, one, I didn't tell the father that was about to happen. I just felt like I needed more time. So I said, no, you know what? I'm not ready. Mm-hmm. And the nurse just, wouldn't listen to me. And I said, no, I'm not ready. And as I'm saying no, they continued to pull the instruments and, get everything ready. And it was just like, no, calm down. No, you're going to be okay.
Imagine supporting that. Imagine being in a position where you are on the table and you're saying no, and they don't stop. And they tell you to calm down.
Okay, so you were telling them that you didn't want to move forward.
Yes.
And they were ignoring you.
They absolutely ignored me. Even to the point of, calm down, as if I was the problem. And so I didn't really know, I didn't understand at that point where I had a voice, who listened to me. And so I remember laying there looking to see if there was someone else in the room that would listen to me. And they ended up during this time, they put the instrument inside me and started the instrument. So it was, and I'm saying no, but it was too late because you couldn't stop once it started.
Here's the rest
Why
of it.
do you think they didn't listen to you?
The same as other times where I haven't been listened to by a provider or medical staff. You know, I was
Why?
a young Black woman. You know, multiple times I felt like it was, oh, well, we know better. You don't know what you need. You don't understand. We know better.
Your first reaction to this is going to be to attack Cori Bush for hypocrisy for supporting this type of a movement. There's a pretty big opportunity right here to extend a hand to Cori Bush and say, I am so sorry that you experienced that. To think about being in a position where you say, no, I'm not ready. And there is a medical provider who says, calm down. It's unrelatable for me to know what that's like. Is it because she was single? Is it because she was Black? Is it because of whatever her age was at the time? I don't know what the reasons are. I cannot possibly put myself in that room with her in that moment and understand why it happened the way it did. But I know that from her own words that she had regret in that moment to make that decision at that time. And there was no one in that room to advocate for her. Her words, not mine. I don't know how Cori Bush can't be speaking out on this issue every day so that the next person who has her own personal experience is not feeling alone and wanting to push back. But at the same time, it is a scary, scary thing to find out you're pregnant, to not have planned the pregnancy, to not feel like you can support that pregnancy, to feel like you're going to be alone in delivering this child, in raising this child. How am I going to pay for this child? How am I going to give this child a life? Those are all natural questions to ask yourself, regardless of how that child is conceived, whether it was something that you planned for, that you tracked, that you prayed for. It is still natural to ask yourself those questions. Think to yourself, if you had the opportunity to talk to Cori Bush about that experience, what would you want her to know? What would you want her to feel? Because likely what pushed her into that room in the first place was a sense of fear, potentially a sense of shame. I don't know what her personal circumstances were in that moment. Could she have felt like she couldn't provide and she would have felt bad about that? I don't know what her expectations of what was going to happen next were going to be. But she says there that in that room, she had nobody there to advocate for her. The pro-life movement has to be the movement that everybody knows plainly will be there to support these women should they choose to change their mind at any given time. I don't understand personally how Cori Bush can't use that story as a jumping off point to reach into a community that she represents, to understand why abortion was created, to know the name Margaret Sanger, to have been in that position herself. I don't know what that's like. But I wish that Cori Bush would have understood that right here in St. Louis, there are organizations all over the place that would have wanted to help her, that would have loved that child after the child was born and loved Cori for who she was, who she is, and helped push through a difficult time that would have preserved a life that I would have hoped she would have been grateful for. Do I have the right to make that decision for her? I don't. What she did was legal. But what the abortion facility did was predatory. And that's the legal fight. That's the life-saving fight that people who want to advocate for choosing life are up against. A predatory industry where people are made to feel like you are completely alone in this and we can take away the consequence for you. And then you can walk out of here a free woman. I doubt that a lot of those women walk out of there immediately feeling like a free woman. Some of them do, but I bet a lot of them don't. Brad, you're a pastor. What's your reaction to Cori Bush's interview that she chose to speak on this issue? She sure didn't have to tell that story.
No. The thing that really sticks out to me is that this is going to sound weird, but that helpless feeling of looking around a room looking for somebody to advocate for you. My experience wasn't a negative one, and it wasn't during abortion, but I remember whenever I was on the operating table, whenever they were giving me a heart cath, and I was kind of in and out of consciousness and stuff like that going on, and being held down by people saying, hey, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, we've got you under control. And looking around for somebody just to tell me what's going on and how can I communicate to you what I'm feeling, and nobody is listening to you. You know, because they're just doing their thing, because there's they went in through my wrist for that one. So it's not the same, but there are similar feelings that arise. So that's heart-wrenching to me, because I understand what it's like to be in an operating room where nobody's listening to what you're trying to tell them. And then the other side of that is, too, this is not how you advocate for women. I mean, this is the whole argument. This is women's rights and women's empowerment and women's this and women's that, and we're there for the women. That's the whole argument of the pro-abortion movement. It's the whole argument. And then when the woman goes in there and decides, hey, I don't want to do this, they're not pro-woman at that moment. They're pro-abortion. It was get the abortion done, not get what's right for this woman. So it kind of pulls back the veil on everything that they say about what it is and what it's for and all of this other stuff. And it's just not. And it's amazing to me that, and my heart breaks for her, because she didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do it, and they did it anyway.
Steve on our YouTube channel says, this is the first time I have ever felt sympathy for Cori Bush. This has brought tears to my eyes. That's the right response, Steve. It's tragic. It's sad. And just because it happens to somebody who you politically are misaligned with, that doesn't make it any more sad or any less tragic. Let's talk more about this when we come back. A reminder, if you're joining us on the YouTube Live, in our YouTube Live chat poll is up there in the chat section of our live video right now. In the midterm election, what outcome do you expect in the U.S. Senate? GOP 53 plus seats. GOP 51 or 52. A 50-50 split remains as it is right now. Or a Democrat majority. Which one do you think is going to happen in 22 days when we all go to the polls and cast our votes and try to redirect this country, God willing? Go vote in the YouTube Live chat poll. React to the Cori Bush interview as well. I'd love to know what you all think about that. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
Jeff Fleming, former Milwaukee TV reporter.
One of the most frightening parts of the Dahmer story is that he looked so normal. We want our serial killers to look outrageous, but Dahmer looked like the guy next door.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So if you were looking to drop some weight, here's the deal, folks. In May, I dropped 22 pounds in less than a month. So it's the middle of October. You could drop weight, significant weight, before the holidays even get here. Don't think to yourself, I'm going to shove this all to January, because, folks, the holidays are difficult. Think about the photos that you want to be in with your family, with your loved ones, and seeing yourself and feeling confident that you have dedicated yourself to a healthier you. You can access this when you reach out to Slim 180. They have multiple programs and a great opportunity right now for you to save by reaching out to Slim 180. When you talk to them about how you want to lose weight, what you've done to gain weight, what your goals are, they're going to put you in the direction on a plan that is catered to you. And they're going to counsel you through the whole thing. You can get the weight off before the holidays. Start now with 50% off full weight loss programs at Slim 180. The locations, the times, the phone numbers to make it the most convenient to you as possible. They're all there online at myslim180.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Almost any business conference that you would go to these days requires you to travel out of state and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to attend. Well, here's some good news. The St. Louis Business Expo and Business Growth Conference is just like those shows, but it's right here at the St. Charles Convention Center November 1st. If you're a business owner or you're a key employee, gain months worth of valuable connections in just a few hours. And we brought in leading experts to do seminars on sales, marketing, and social media, and the entire convention is absolutely free. All you have to do is register at stlexpo.com.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Told me Black Lives Matter. And if you think about it, Senator, in Atlanta, Georgia, there's more black baby that is aborted than anything. So if Black Lives Matter, why are you not protecting those babies? And instead of aborting those babies, why are you not baptizing those babies?
I love Herschel Walker. I hope he wins. He's saying all the things in that sentence there, that statement there, that should be said. Will he get credit for it or not? I don't know. You can't even watch the media reaction to these things and get a good idea of what's going on. Someone says on Twitter, Herschel Walker is doing amazing and it's awesome and this is going to be great for his campaign. And then you read the comments and they're like, what debate are you watching? And it's just so polarized. You have to watch it for yourself. You have to consume it for yourself. And then you have to make a decision for yourself. Who in Georgia is going, gosh, I just really don't know, Herschel Walker or Raphael Warnock? Who is saying that?
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
There's nobody who's actively planning on voting in 22 days who's like, I'm torn.
Yeah, we talk about independents like they're just on the fence. Like, gosh, but that one made a good point now, too. That's just not happening. It's whoever shows up in greater numbers by party is going to win that
Well,
race.
let me pose it to you guys like this. What if the person is sitting out there going, man, Raphael Warnock is an absolute disaster, but I really don't like Herschel Walker either. And maybe that's the undecided person.
I don't think that you vote. I don't know why you would cast your vote for somebody who you think is an absolute disaster. This is the thing that I don't believe is being talked about. In fact, I haven't heard anybody talking about this. And if I missed it, then I guess we're just going to be in a great minds think alike, unless you tell me that it was like Chris Cuomo was like, oh, he's just covering this last night. And then I'll be like, he's an idiot. I don't think that people are talking enough about the state of affairs when Raphael Warnock got elected to the Senate. There were so many factors in play that had nothing to do with who Raphael Warnock was as a candidate. In Georgia, of all places, in a special election in 2020 that took place, January? Was it the beginning of January? Right?
The election itself, it was, I think they took office in January. The election was December.
Are you sure?
No, but I'm pretty sure.
Georgia special Senate. This is what it sounds like when you Google Senate election 2020. It was so important for Republicans to take one or both of those seats. Donald Trump was out disparaging people showing up to vote because he said it was a disaster, that the election system was a disaster. He went back and he started to kind of correct that and say, no, you got to go show up at the polls. Everything that we're not supposed to really discuss and talk about for the social media censors out there about what took place in 2020, that was all happening in Georgia in that moment in time. It was not a normal election. You can't go to the Georgia Senate election and go, well, Raphael Warnock, anything, because it wasn't a normal election. Do people in Georgia feel like they got the 2020 election right? And I'm talking about that, the votes that were cast and counted. They voted 2 Democrats into the Senate. Hugely consequential. If I were in Georgia, I'd feel a little personally responsible for the bad direction of the country today. Because one of those candidates being Republican changes the entire game. I think Georgia knows that. I think Georgia has seen everybody shine a spotlight on them and really use them as like a punching dummy in order to get all of their election this, election that woes out. I think they're pretty sick of it. You watch Major League Baseball rip out the All-Star game from your city, and then you're like, fine, we'll win the World Series. And you do. I would do the chop right now if it might not get me canceled out of context. I think Georgia is probably a little miffed at the last 2 years, knows that the country is going in the wrong direction. And I don't think that putting Herschel Walker into the Senate is any crazier than making Stacey Abrams the governor or making Raphael Warnock win an actual election under normal circumstances. And look at Stacey Abrams' polls. Those polls reflect how not excited Georgia is for what Stacey Abrams brings to the table. What Raphael Warnock brings to the United States Senate is the same thing that Stacey Abrams brings to the state as the governor. They're not up for it. I think that race, as close as it's polling and as much as the national media is paying attention to that, they're not paying attention to Stacey Abrams. Why is that? Because she's not going to win. And it can't get behind it and be the loser. The media's infatuation with this race in Georgia, this Senate race in Georgia, is a plea to the Democrats to show up. And I think that Herschel Walker is going to do much better than expected. Only because I think that the foundation going into it is so that they're their understanding of what is the state of affairs in Georgia is so off. You watched some of that.
Yeah, I pulled some of the audio. I tried to follow it on Twitter, stuff like that. The thing that really, really bothers me about it is when you listen to what Herschel Walker says, he's not crazy. He's not out of his mind. He's not saying weird things. But you listen to a lot of the criticism that I saw, especially criticism of him coming from the left.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what he was saying. It was how he was saying it. They were going after him for his accent, for his way of speaking. And man, is that elitist.
It's racist.
It's absolutely horrible.
If the Republicans were doing that to the Democrat candidate who happened to be black, and you were talking about the way he speaks, good grief. That's something that Joe Biden would do.
Yeah,
calling Barack Obama an articulate man. That was dubbed as racist. By the way, that runoff was January 5th.
Yeah.
Not December, which was the day before January 6th, which might have made people a little more worked up.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that all of the hopes, the hand-wringing that's going on right now from Democrats who have the opportunity to try to shore up one of these races, every one counts. I'm not an optimist, but I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, what you're talking about, there would have to be roughly 8% of the Georgia electorate that would be Kemp Warnock voters. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because Kemp is so far ahead and has been the whole time. It's never changed. Ahead of Stacey Abrams. He's going to win that race. It's outside even the margin. But Herschel Walker, I think you're right. They're focusing on that so much more because they need it to hang on to the Senate that they really don't care. So they're trying to focus on that. And you may even be seeing skewed polls because of that, because of A, the media attention on it, and B, you might have some dishonest polls that are oversampling Democrats in that race.
Dishonest polls. What?
Such a thing exists, Annie. I know it's like a unicorn, but you can find them.
Yep.
We'll see.
If you're in Missouri and you think about Eric Schmidt's race, you're replacing a Republican if you're voting for Eric Schmidt with a Republican. So Republicans, voters show up in Missouri and vote the same way that they always have. Status quo. The situation in the country stays the same. In Georgia, that's not the case. When you go show up and you vote for your governor, if you're going to vote for Stacey Abrams, your life is going to change if she ends up getting elected. But if you vote for Herschel Walker, the whole country's life is going to change for the better. And Georgia knows that. I believe that Georgia knows that and is really sick and tired of everybody else saying, oh, but Georgia. I think they're going to show up in a big way. I think the Herschel Walker one's going to be a barn burner. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
Did you know the Missouri State Treasurer's Office holds over $1 billion of unclaimed property? That's billion with a B. Things like utility deposits or uncashed checks and other money you didn't know was missing. This is Missouri State Treasurer Scott Fitzpatrick. My office wants to return this money to rightful owners, and the average claim is $300. Search your name online 24/7 at showmemoney.com. Claiming your money is always free, so search today at showmemoney.com.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Inventory continues to be incredibly low when it comes to people looking to buy houses. So if you're thinking about selling on the Illinois side of the river, it's a good time to do it. Don't worry about what everyone's saying about mortgage rates and everything. People still need homes. They're still looking. Jen Teskey has a whole list of people who want to buy your home right now. Reach out to Jen Teskey and ask her to assess your home, to use her great experienced team to put you in a position to get top dollar and very fast. Or maybe you're not ready to sell right now, but you're going to be in 4 months, 6 months, 12 months. Jen Teskey and the people at RE/MAX Alliance that she has working around the clock to make sure that her clients are super served. They're going to be able to position you best when the time is right to sell your home, what you need to do now, what you shouldn't waste a penny on. Jen Teskey is your go-to. Reach out to her, call her, text her on this number right now. Jen Teskey, RE/MAX Alliance, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Recent impacts with inflation, ongoing COVID concerns, and geopolitical conflict have us all and the markets on edge. Heisey Advisory Group understands the importance of having a customized strategy for retirement, especially during uncertain times, to help ensure these concerns don't have an impact on your retirement. Heisey Advisory Group is a St. Louis-based, family-owned and operated holistic retirement planning firm. Our team has defined a process that puts together all the pieces of the financial puzzle, working with all of your service providers to help develop an individualized plan that grows with you as your life changes and your needs evolve. If you're not confident that your retirement plan is on track to deliver the lifestyle you want amid historic levels of uncertainty, call us today at 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's a tough time for the American people. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from the White House, insisting the president understands and that his efforts to help are popular, including the CHIPS Act and the Inflation Reduction Act.
Republicans are actually going to make things worse, and Democrats want to do the opposite and make things a little easier.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre also says the president's been on the road nonstop, telling the American people about his results.
The White House insists it is not all doom and gloom when it comes to the economy. But for the president, this is more than just an economic issue. This is surely a political issue. The midterm election's 22 days away, and most voters not thrilled with the state of the economy. The latest Fox News polling showing only 21% of registered voters would rate the condition of this economy either as good or excellent, 78% considering it fair or poor.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. The White House criticizing the former president for comments at a weekend rally calling out American Jews for not praising his pro-Israel policies enough.
Donald Trump's comments were anti-Semitic, as you all know, and insulting, both to Jews and to our Israeli allies.
The Israeli president will visit the White House later this month. The crash of a Russian warplane in the Russian port city of Yeysk is now blamed for at least 3 deaths, with more than 20 injured, some in grave condition. That crash happened in a residential area. Russian officials say one of the engines caught fire during takeoff. The U.S. condemning Russia's latest attacks on Ukraine's capital using suspected Iranian-made drones.
The Russians say they only hit Ukrainian military positions. They're lying. The Russians routinely target civilians not only here in the capital of Kyiv, but also in the eastern part of this country, where a 1,500-mile front line continues to push back and forth.
Fox's Trey Yingst, Ukrainian officials appealing again for more air defense systems. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Rx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare. What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Simply, it is a cold afternoon for the middle of October across St. Louis. Lots of sun, windy, 49-50, so it feels colder than that caught in the wind. Freeze warning for the overnight hours, 25 for the low. Temperatures tumble this evening. Tuesday, sunny, cold, windy again, 49-50, and then 25 again Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunny and 52. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
GatewayDRS.com, that's GatewayDoctors.com, is where you connect with Gateway ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctors in St. Louis that you can trust. I see Dr. Hardiman. I've talked to Dr. Hardiman about his whole practice, but he's also with a whole bunch of ENTs. They're the best in St. Louis. They're not a part of any big hospital system. You are at the epicenter of their care every single time. And also, they can get you in pretty quickly. If you have an ENT issue, something going on with your ear, your nose, your throat that you need to have taken care of, please do the smart thing and reach out to Gateway ENT first. They'll get you in and they'll get you treated and cared for, and you'll say, man, I'm glad I called them. 314-843-3828. That's 314-843-3828. The oldest private practice ENT group in the St. Louis metropolitan area. West County, you can find them in Sunset Hills and Festus, but online at GatewayDRS.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Some things happen slowly, and maybe you don't notice right away that you're slowing down, that you don't recover as quickly from injuries or sore muscles, and you kind of wonder why, but you just go on with your life. Victory Men's Health was set up with you in mind. They have medical doctors who've been working in the area of men's health specifically for 30 years. If you've got low T, if you've got ED, if you're dealing with any of those issues, don't suffer in silence. You can thank me later. Book your appointment at victorymenshealth.com.
Fun in the sun is no fun at all without sunscreen. Just like reapplying sunscreen helps continue protection against the sun, a booster shot can help enhance protection against COVID-19 after a primary series vaccination. Schedule a booster appointment when eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
This month's Zero Rest special. The more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. A 43% savings. Take $75 off any air duct cleaning package. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show
Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here. We had a really interesting conversation at 12:30 with Abby Johnson, who is a pro-life advocate, former director at Planned Parenthood. She's going to be in town in St. Charles, October 27th. Adsforlife.org is where you get your tickets. I'm going to be there, and I would love to see you. Go back on the Odyssey app and listen to that conversation because, boy, she spoke very directly in that. We also spoke with Stephen Moore at 105 about the president standing in an ice cream shop. Of course he was in an ice cream shop, just casually talking about the economy and how great it's going.
I'm not concerned about the defense of the dollar. I'm concerned about the rest of the world. Does that make sense? Yes. Our economy is strong as hell. The internals are. Inflation is worldwide. It's worse off everywhere else than it is in the United States. So the problem is the lack of economic growth and sound policy in other countries, not so much ours. And that's how.
Isn't it a huge political mistake to be holding, I think the report was, it was a waffle cone with double chocolate chip ice cream. I know that fact. Isn't it a mistake for him to be talking about the economy being good as hell while he's eating ice cream in an ice cream parlor?
It is a huge mistake, especially when the thing, like the economy, if the economy's good, then it's not a mistake. It's like things are going great, but everybody's like, I can't afford to put gas in my car and buy groceries. And he's like, they asked him the question. He took a bite of the ice cream and then he answered the question. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know what the worst thing ever would be?
Listening to him eat ice cream.
Biden ice cream ASMR.
Oh, I'm going to barf. Or just die.
I know.
Save myself from
literally are ads right now from Illinois Democrats saying, we know it's hard to even go get something like ice cream. Even ice cream can feel like a luxury right now.
Yeah.
What the heck? The president is known for eating ice cream and talking about economics and how everything's great now. And you got down ballot politicians in your party who are saying, even average voters are having trouble buying ice cream. It's the worst optics possible.
Don't you want to boop him?
Not really.
No.
All right. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty here. The whole boop thing in the Annie Frey Show. Where did this come from? I'm going to allow, I guess, is it a Ryan story that starts with Ryan, as most of these things do? Let's talk about booping.
Okay.
In a professional way.
Booping in public.
Booping in public. Where did the association with the Annie Frey Show and boop come about?
One day,
that's any good story.
Hannah was sitting out and doing the phone calls and some of the post-production stuff. And I said, you know what? You look like a boop. And that's just about the entire story. She didn't really know what that meant, nor did I at the moment. But she just has that face that you just want to tap her on the nose.
The story does not end at HR.
No, it doesn't. Thankfully.
But it may not be over yet.
Yeah, we're just getting there.
Might still be writing itself.
So Hannah has that kind of face that you just want to go, hey, boop. And you want to tap her on the nose, and then you want to just keep walking.
Hannah, how did that make you feel?
Fine. I remembered it as, hey, Hannah really needs a nickname.
Maybe.
That's how I remember it. And, Ryan looked at me and he's like, you just look like a boop. So I was like, okay. And then we had a whole poll of whether my nickname should be Boop or Beanbag. I'll explain Beanbag. Beanbag, one time, Annie was texting Brad about me, hopefully in a good sense. And
I was on vacation.
Yeah.
And I made a comment to him about something that he and Hannah could do.
Cornhole.
And Annie's autocorrect changed my name from Hannah to Beanbag.
Naturally.
So
this is all there is to it.
Yeah.
Just an
That's
autocorrect.
it. So that is one sense of boop. You can explain the rest of boop.
Yes. So, I'll be holding Molly all the time. She'll be sitting on me, and I will boop her nose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And every time I say boop, now I'm kind of like, boop. But that's what a boop is in our context. If you know of a different thing that has to do with boop, that's not what we're talking about. This is what booping is on the Annie Frey Show. And we had the conversation about politicians, like how a politician would react to someone booping them. I think actually does kind of matter. Like, if you go through that process, don't you think, Ryan, that somebody's reaction to that might tell you about that person?
I'm actually surprised there aren't viral videos already of somebody who's decided to make that their thing, booping celebrities and politicians. But yes, how a politician would respond to somebody walking up to them and tapping them on the nose and being like, boop, it would say something about them.
So before we get to the politicians here, Ryan, somebody you don't know walks up and does that to you. Boop. What's your reaction?
Depends on who it is. If it is, I don't know. If it's somebody who seems like they're really friendly and or completely socially unaware, I'd just be like,
That's you just described yourself.
okay. Yeah. If it was me,
It's you.
if it's me walking up to me, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to give that guy the benefit of the doubt. He seems like a good guy.
That's good advice. Did you say really nice and completely socially unaware?
Uh-huh. Really nice or completely socially unaware.
Maybe both.
Or both.
I love the comments about boop. There's so many people. Gotta boop the snoot. Josh says,
Yep, gotta
I've
boop
been
the snoot.
booped recently. I didn't like it.
Brad, somebody comes up to you, you don't know them, and they boop your nose.
Well, that depends. Depends on if they're hotter than expected.
How did they expect
That's kind of what I was going to say, but I don't want to say it.
Is it? Are they cute? Well,
I know.
you know.
If they're
Lil
not cute.
Galaxy on YouTube says Urban Dictionary defines it as affectionately poking someone on the nose, often accompanied by saying boop. Yes.
There we go.
Precisely.
Perfect. So what are you doing?
So it really just depends on the person. You know, if it's condescending, I'm going to be upset. If it's just playful, it's not going to bother me.
Like if a big dude walks up to you and boops your nose.
Walks up, he's like,
At a country bar.
was he cute?
Hannah, what are you doing?
I'm fine with being booped, except if I'm like arguing with someone and then they, after their point, they
You might
go,
come up with an entirely new way to win an argument.
Yeah.
If somebody comes up and boofs me on the nose, I'm punching you in the face.
Yeah, you
Like,
would not tolerate it.
There's no
Annie is not boopable.
no, not booping this girl. No. Personal space, people. There's no booping. I mean, can you? I don't know. No. And I'm going to tell you here in a minute that I think that how a politician would react to being booped matters. Do not boop me. I don't want to go to an event and have people be booping me because they think it would be funny.
Yeah, I don't want to be
don't do it,
booped at an
guys.
event.
I'm almost guaranteeing you that 9 times out of 10 or more, it's somebody being a jack
Wagon?
wagon.
Oh, I
It's
love
somebody
that
doing
term.
that because they just want to see what your reaction would be.
The kind of person you have to be to comfortably boop somebody on the nose.
And mean it
I feel like
affectionately.
you're a booper.
Non-consensual
I think I
booping.
could get away with it.
I dare you. I got a right hook.
I'll approach you from the left.
Okay. I got a left jab. Janine says, great Friday poll. Which AFS celeb would you like to boot most? Oh, boy.
I love the word celeb in that sentence.
Yeah.
Experts.
All right. Should we get to it? Let's do it. Let's do the Mount Rushmore.
Can we retire using Mount Rushmore? That should be offensive to all of us.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
So we are going to do the Mount Rushmore of politicians that we would most like to boot. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what their reaction. Who do we want to see react to being booped most?
Okay.
Ryan, the originator of the boop connection to the Annie Frey Show, we'll let you go with your 4 first.
Okay. Number 1, Mike Pompeo. And I'm picking people who I think would react well to being booped.
Yeah.
Like they just seem kind of jolly.
I'm picking people that I might have to run away from.
Oh, really?
But we'll see. Who else?
Number 2, Elena Kagan. Number 3, Senator Chuck Grassley. Number 4, I was really torn on. It was between Nikki Haley and Mazie Hirono. I think I'll go with Nikki Haley. I think she would react most well. There's my 4. With Elena Kagan really being my number 1. I would really like to boop Elena Kagan.
I said Darren Bailey.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
He'd handle it well.
Darren Bailey, Jennifer Harris.
Okay.
AOC and Carrie Lake.
AOC and Carrie Lake. She would.
Man.
She would right hook you.
Yeah, you're not getting out of that one. She would track you down, even if you were in a crowd.
Can you imagine booping Carrie Lake?
No, I would have never even thought of that. That is a great one.
Brad?
So my approach is a little different than theirs.
Okay.
I'm looking for people that I can annoy whenever I do this.
That was
and
that was my choice for AOC. I
Okay.
wouldn't just want to be around her.
I have AOC on my list as well because I would love to watch her just flip out.
Yeah.
But I need one of you guys there to film it.
Okay.
So
Go viral.
Yep. The other one I have on here is Dan Crenshaw. I feel like he would flip his lid.
Yes.
That'd be
fun. I had Maisie Hirono on my list because I knew she'd lose her mind. She's so angry. It's like, oh, you're so angry all the time. Why are you so angry? Boop.
Calm down. Your line of questioning doesn't even make sense.
And my last one, I'm not really sure how he would react. It'd be either outrage or he'd start crying. Adam Kinzinger.
Oh. I like that. Maybe he would show his outrage by crying.
He'd start weeping.
I would like to see Kamala Harris booped. Because
I wouldn't want to get close enough.
No, I would. I would like to boop her to see how she would react to that. Because I don't think she does much that isn't pre-scripted for her. And I think that if you booped Kamala Harris on the nose, I think she would immediately have... Like, you can't not viscerally react to that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to go up to Kamala Harris and just boop her right on the nose and have her handle that in a pre-scripted way. Nobody's pre-scripting this.
True.
You're going to get the real Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe she just kind of like... She short circuits.
It just turns her off. It's like her off button.
This whole time, that's all we had
She's
to do.
a robot. Who knew?
Melts.
That would be Al Gore. He's a robot.
The next one I would like to boop is Donald Trump.
What?
I think that would be hilarious. And the reason why I bring this up, you said Darren Bailey. When we were at the Trump rally,
oh, yeah.
he told the story from the stage that apparently Donald Trump had a stray hair hanging in his face. One hair hanging down his face. And Darren Bailey, because the dude knows how to get stuff done, went to remove the hair from Donald Trump's face. And it was attached. And so he pulled it out of Donald Trump's head.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump told this story. I mean, booping is way less than pulling a hair out of somebody's head. And Donald Trump was super cool about it. I don't know what took place behind the scenes, but he told the story, was super cool about it and funny about it. That I mean, I think if you booped Donald Trump's nose, you'd probably get tackled by Secret Service. But that brings me to my next one is Joe Biden. And the reason why...
He'd boop you back.
That's exactly right! His natural reaction would be like, oh, cool, let's do it. And boop, he'd boop you right back.
Then you'd punch him.
You don't touch me. No,
I
would
wrote,
not.
dare you.
I wrote
would not.
Biden boop back on
Biden,
my page.
that's hilarious because that was my thought. The state of mind that this president is in, if somebody came up and booped him, he would just be like, this is what I guess I could do back to you. There would be no like, what just happened here? He'd be like, yeah, I'm game.
I wonder if that's how you get him to open for his oatmeal.
I don't know.
Oh.
Okay, here you go.
Here comes the airplane.
The final one is J.B. Pritzker.
I thought that. I thought that.
An aggressive boop.
No. What would J.B. Pritzker do if someone booped him? He'd probably be totally cash about it, I bet. But I would boop J.B. Pritzker because that would mean I'd get an audience with him and get his attention and maybe get tackled also by whatever their version of Secret Service is. Wait a second. We don't invest in this in the state police in the state of Illinois, right? So he doesn't have all these people securing
He's probably got
him.
private security, Annie.
Oh, what the elitist people get to have. All right. There's our Mount Rushmore of politicians we'd like to boop. Make sure you know what boop means before you re-listen to that segment and misconstrue everything that we just said. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show around the corner, including at 2:45, we'll get the results to today's YouTube live chat poll. In the midterm election, what outcome do you expect in the United States Senate? GOP 53 plus seats. Republicans to have 51 or 52, so a majority, but a very slight one. a 50-50 split remaining, or a Democrat majority. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Let's flood that vote there and get your thoughts in. You can leave comments. Hannah will continue to highlight them and read some of them on air at 2:45. Back in a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Oh, lots about joy, lots about pain. It's all about forgiving and the will to walk away.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Choosing a dentist can be kind of a difficult situation. A lot of people don't love going to the dentist. That's the reason why Foley Dental Group is so available to you, to taking new appointments, new patients right now, to make sure that when you go in there, you're super comfortable, to get the best dental care around. In the Metro East area, super simple to get to on 159 right off of 270. So whether you're traveling from the Illinois side or you're looking for the best dental care and you're willing to hop on 270 to get it, it's at FoleyDentalGroup.com is the website. They work with sleep disorders. They work with a bunch of dental issues that you might not realize are connected to your whole health. They are going to be able to help navigate through these health concerns that you may have, and they're going to be able to treat you at the dentist's office to make sure that you are adequately addressing any of these issues you might be experiencing, including implants and dentures and also Invisalign. Your whole dental health is taken care of at Foley Dental Group. They are the best in the business, and they are taking new patients today. Go to the dental provider for the Frey family, 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. Online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
What's up, everybody? Guess who's hosting a new podcast? No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith. Listen as I pull back the curtain on everything beyond the world of sports, interviewing influential guests, outspoken celebrities, and thought leaders across the political, financial, and social spectrum. You know me, I'll give you my unbiased opinion. A No Mercy episode drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Are you or someone you know seeking help for a substance use disorder in Franklin County? Prevent Ed's free peer support service can connect clients with the medication-assisted treatment provider. Our certified peer specialists guide you through the process and ensure transportation to appointments and to pick up medication. Clients can generally be seen by a treatment provider in 24 to 36 hours. Access this free service at 314-246-9788 or at prevented.org/peers.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Mark Cox here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters, WhiskeyDickerson.com. They design and produce a line of Patriot-approved apparel right here in St. Louis. Visit WhiskeyDickerson.com to find their great designs. You can shop Ultra MAGA, Let's Go Brandon, and even 97.1 FM Talk. If you like your whiskey, your Second Amendment, and the freedom to live life on your own terms, check them out at WhiskeyDickerson.com.
I'm losing my self-control. Yeah, you're starting to trickle back in, but I don't want to fall down the rabbit hole. Cross my heart, I won't.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Tell myself draw the line, and I do, but once in a while I trip up and I cross the line, and I think of you. 2 years and just like that, my head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess, but wasn't it the best? Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over.
You guys want a little Hunter Biden, Joe Biden connection? Breaking news?
Nah.
Say no.
But yes.
Yeah, I do.
Tomorrow at 12:25. Just kidding. We'll do it right now. This is from Fox News. Is technically breaking news. New whistleblower documents reveal that President Biden, quote, was aware of Hunter Biden's business arrangements and may have been involved in some of them, according to Republican Senator Chuck Grassley.
Hey, Chuck Grassley. I wanted to boop him.
Apparently he heard and he was like, I'll throw you a bone here.
Thank you.
Grassley suggested that the FBI has voluminous evidence related to the potential criminality of those ventures. Grassley from Iowa sent a letter Monday, according to Attorney General Merrick Garland, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and U.S. Attorney for Delaware David Weiss, detailing new whistleblower allegations that the Bureau is in possession of, quote, significant, impactful, and voluminous evidence with respect to potential criminal conduct by Hunter Biden and James Biden, end quote. Weiss has oversight of the Hunter Biden investigation. Grassley said the FBI has a series of documents in its possession related to information on Mykola Zlochevsky, the owner of Ukrainian natural gas firm Burisma Holdings. Hunter Biden sat on the board of that company, quote, from Chuck Grassley. The documents in the FBI's possession include specific details with respect to conversations by non-government individuals relevant to potential criminal conduct by Hunter Biden. Quote, these documents also indicate that Joe Biden was aware of Hunter Biden's business arrangements and may have been involved in some of them. He added it is, quote, unclear whether the FBI followed normal investigative procedure to determine the truth and accuracy of the information or shut down investigative activity based on improper disinformation claims in advance of the 2020 election. Quote, it is also unclear whether U.S. Attorney Weiss has performed his own due diligence on these and related allegations, according to Chuck Grassley. Grassley and Senator Ron Johnson led an investigation into Hunter Biden beginning in 2019 and found that Obama administration officials knew that Hunter Biden's position on the board of Burisma was, quote, problematic, and that it interfered, quote, in the efficient execution of policy with respect to Ukraine. Hunter Biden joined Burisma in April 2014 and reportedly connected the firm with consulting firm Blue Star Strategies to help the natural gas company fight corruption charges in Ukraine. During the time Hunter Biden was on the board of the company, Joe Biden was vice president and running U.S.-Ukraine relations and policy for the Obama administration. According to Fox News, Grassley also pointed to a summary of an FBI interview with Hunter Biden's ex-business partner, Tony Bobulinski, from October 23rd, 2020, in which Bobulinski stated that Hunter and James Biden created a business arrangement with foreign nationals connected to the Chinese government while Joe Biden was vice president. Grassley said the summary of Bobulinski's interview states that work, quote, remained intentionally uncompensated while Joe Biden was vice president. Quote, after Joe Biden left the vice presidency, the summary makes clear that Hunter Biden and James Biden worked with CEFC and affiliated individuals to compensate them for that past work and benefits they procured for CEFC. This was according to Chuck Grassley, referring to the now bankrupt Chinese conglomerate CEFC China Energy. Citing the summary, Grassley said that Hunter Biden, James Biden, and their business associates created a joint venture that would serve as a, quote, vehicle to accomplish that financial compensation. The joint venture was shown as Sinohawk Holdings, a partnership between the CEFC chairman Yi Jinming and Hunter and James Biden. Sinohawk was 50% owned by Oneida Holdings, LLC, and 50% owned by Hudson West 4. Oneida was made of 5 evenly divided LLCs, according to the summary, one for each a business associate, including Hunter Biden's and James Biden. Bobulinski told the FBI that 10% of Hunter Biden's interest was to be held for Joe Biden. Fox News first reported in October 2020 about an email including a discussion of remuneration packages for 6 people in a business deal with CEFC. The email appeared to identify Biden as, quote, chair/vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC. The email included a note that, quote, Hunter has some office expectations he will elaborate. A proposed equity split references 20 for H and 10 held by H for the big guy, with no further details. Bobulinski told Fox News at the time that Hunter Biden called his dad the big guy or my chairman and frequently referenced asking him for his sign-off or advice on various potential deals that we were discussing. Grassley's letter to Garland, Ray, and Weiss included the Oneida operating agreement. Is it Oneida or Oneida? I don't know. Which included the, quote, percentage of interest for each individual. The agreement was signed on May 22nd, 2017. Grassley also said that the FBI, quote, has a document within its possession that notes that the former Vice President Joe Biden met with Hunter Biden and his business associates at a conference in L.A. on May 2nd, 2017 and May 3rd, 2017. Fox News first reported on those meetings in October 2020 after obtaining text messages between Bobulinski, Hunter Biden, and James Biden. The messages seem to indicate the meeting took place, though it's unclear what the substance of the meetings may have been. Fox News has more on this report. We'll share this. I'm going to tweet this article out right now so that you can finish the whole thing. But that was from Fox News. There's a breaking news right now. More information from whistleblowers about who knew what when. Brad, you're shaking your head.
I'm just so like, why did we ignore this? I mean,
don't you hate it when you ask questions you know the answers to?
Yeah, I know exactly why we ignored this. We ignored this because they wanted Biden in office and they wanted Trump out and they didn't care who replaced him. And now we're talking about Hunter Biden, who has ties to Ukraine, who we're now like funding so that they can go to war with Russia, who like you can't tell me that's not linked in some way. And also our biggest economic competitor on the world market today is China. And what does Hunter Biden, the president's son, have? Illicit business dealings with Chinese companies.
Isn't it interesting to compare what we have, the questions that and the eyebrows that would be raised with the information that we've just been provided? The implied connection is not good. We have talked on our show previously about the nepotism is not necessarily the right word, but the ability to enrich yourself, oneself, or your family when you gain power. Just identifying politicians and their personal wealth from the time they enter public office to the time that they end public office turns your stomach. Because it absolutely is there's a scenario where your wealth seems to go up and up and up, and I can understand why people would want to stay there because they're getting wealthy from it. then you get to the point where it's not just about money, it's about power. And the world is your playground. That's certainly the way that the Bidens, specifically Hunter Biden, has played it. And you can see that from his own laptop. You can tell from his own database what he was into, what the repercussions of being into what he was into is when you're the son of Joe Biden. You compare that to what they've tried to pin on Donald Trump, and it is obnoxious how much we have a two-tier justice system in this country. Investigate, ask the questions, investigate anybody who's trading on the American name for their own personal wealth and benefit. But the double standard, the hypocrisy in this country, it's ridiculous. I want to take a quick break here. When we come back, let's discuss the YouTube live chat poll in the midterm election. What outcome do you expect in the United States Senate? 53 plus seats for the Republicans. GOP 51 or 52, a 50-50 split, which is what it is right now. Democrat majority. Ryan, do you have a pretty good feeling about this one?
I do. I've got a bold prediction.
All right. Well, let's hear from Ryan first when we come back, and from you on the YouTube live chat portion. After you vote, what you think is going to happen, leave a comment as to why you voted the way you did. Hannah's going to highlight those results when we come back. Lots on the Annie Frey Show today. A great opportunity for you to subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast or just rewind on the Odyssey app. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. We're so glad you're here. We'll be right back.
It's never really over. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Reardon Show.
Jeff Fleming, former Milwaukee TV reporter.
One of the most frightening parts of the Dahmer story is that he looked so normal. We want our serial killers to look outrageous, but Dahmer looked like the guy next door.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you are looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river, give C.A. Jones an opportunity to earn your business. You'll see why they have earned the business of so many people seeking to have that dream home, the one where you get to make the decisions about what everything looks like, as opposed to walking in homes that are for sale with inventory being so low. Those prices on those homes are pretty high. Maybe you're considering building for the first time. C.A. Jones has a buildable plans section of their website where you can pick a different kind of home that you might like to live in, look at the layouts of everything, and then customize it so you can see what it would look like when you put your key in the door for the first time and walk into your new home. C.A. Jones builds energy-efficient homes. C.A. Jones provides a lifetime waterproof basement warranty, and a 10-year structure warranty. They commit to making sure this process is as exciting for you as it absolutely should be. Many people who have been looking for homes in the Illinois side of the river have gone with C.A. Jones to build that dream home. I hope you give them a chance as well. CAJonesinc.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
The best conversations happen at the kitchen table. So I'm bringing the table to you.
All around our communities, Ann Wagner is meeting with us and hearing our concerns.
Public servants need to listen to you, not the liberal mob. People care about kitchen table issues, like the skyrocketing prices of groceries and gas. And now Biden has you paying for someone else's college loans. Let's stop their madness.
This year, Biden's inflation is costing your home over $10,000. Ann Wagner has seen the harm it's brought to Missouri families firsthand. She knows you work too hard to have your tax dollars wasted by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. That's why Ann has a long record of cutting your taxes and fighting the Democrats' out-of-control spending.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message to give you a seat at the table.
Common sense conservative, Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
You'll say
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
ground to start from, and we're falling apart. You'll say the world has come between us, our lives have come between us. Still I know you just don't care. And I said,
This is absolutely on the top 10 list of songs from my childhood.
Oh, yeah. This is high school, like early high school, right?
Junior high.
Grade school.
Maybe junior high?
Yeah. I bet this is early, like 92, I'm guessing. 93.
I was just old enough to not know that this was also a movie, Breakfast at Tiffany's, till a little later. And my parents were like, "You know that's a movie, right?" I'm like, "No, it's a hit song, Mom and Dad. You don't understand my music."
90s movie ever. This song.
Does this sound, Hannah, you're 21 years old. Does this sound like 90s music to you, or does it just sound like pop?
No, it sounds like 90s. I like it.
Me too.
You know what is great 90s music?
1995.
The Dumb and Dumber soundtrack.
Really?
That has every single song on it just sounds like it is 1994 or whatever that was, because it was right around then.
Good music.
Love that movie.
Good music from then. Before we get to the YouTube live chat poll, can we clear something up?
Yes.
This is important. What color is my shirt?
Pink.
Yeah, I would say it's a pink, almost like a grapefruit.
What color is it not?
It is not orange.
Yeah, no.
It is on the camera, though.
Yes.
The camera
on
does
the
not
live
know.
stream, it most definitely looks orange.
I mean, I'm looking at me on the camera and I'm going, that is an orange shirt. Everyone thinks I'm going hunting after this.
Are you?
Not for animals.
Some people think you're an Astros fan.
It's just
That's definitely not true.
That's just
really
not
rude.
true.
No, I'm not an Astros fan. Okay, so who's left? The Padres, the Astros, the Yankees Guardians is game 5. Everybody who was supposed to win is losing.
The Phillies.
The Phillies. I almost said a bad word. Like a really bad
Do
word.
you want
Phillies?
the team that beats you, though? Do you want them to win to show?
No.
You know what?
I want
Because they beat
everybody
us.
left to lose.
Exactly.
That's the honest truth. I know it's not possible, but I want them all to lose.
Somebody posed that question on Twitter. It's like, do you want them to win, or are
No.
you still mad about it? I was like,
Yes.
I'm still mad.
This is why I left
This is
sports
easy.
talk radio, because that is now all I put all my heart into it. I don't need to invest cents in any of it. I just care deeply for my St. Louis Cardinals. Yes, I possessed them there, and you feel the same way, I am sure. And I will stand by my men and cheer the Cardinals on next season. I'm still in mourning for the way that we had to say goodbye to Yachty and to Albert, but it is what it is. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I feel it in my heart, and I get my emotions out through baseball. So yeah, no, I want them all to lose.
Well, I'm rooting for the Phillies.
You would.
I always do that, though, especially in hockey, unless the other team
No.
is jerks. If they're just mean, terrible brutes, which
Meanies.
I hate.
You got a bro crush on Bryce Harper? You want to boop him?
No, I don't want to boot Bryce Harper. I would if given the opportunity,
JT
but I'm not.
Realmuto, though.
I don't want to. Yeah,
Why were you talking to us in the last break about how much you wanted to boop him?
I didn't say that. You're making that up right now, and you're throwing throwing me curveballs here since we're talking about baseball. I want the Phillies to win because it makes the Cardinals look better.
Sounds?
No.
It doesn't make the Cardinals look better.
It
The
does.
Cardinals made themselves look bad.
Yeah, they didn't look. There's nothing about
Phillies,
that looked good for the Cardinals.
Phillies decisively won 2 out of 3 games because the Cardinals didn't hit.
Yeah.
But that's not the Cardinals. I don't want to take it away from the Phillies, but the Cardinals absolutely beat themselves, which is why it sucks more.
No doubt.
And the other part of that is, too, it's not like the Cardinals fought them to the absolute brink and just barely lost. And then you went, okay, well, they ended up winning the World Series. They were just that much. No, it's nothing like that.
Every year in hockey, other than 2019, I feel like I end up rooting for either the Sharks or the Avalanche.
Avalanche!
That's
oh
who-
my
that's
gosh,
who always
that's
beats
Stan
us.
Kroenke's team. What
That's
is
who
wrong
beats
with
us.
you?
Because
Why do you
it
hate
makes-
St. Louis?
It makes your team look better if the team that beats you wins.
No, that is a loser mentality.
Well, I guess I'm just a huge loser who wants to Bryce Harper.
just
Why did
turned
you
your
turn
mic
my mic off?
That had to sound amazing on the air. Who wants to? What? Did you turn his microphone?
Yes, she did. She turned my mic
She
off.
edited the word "boop" out. For everybody who's listening,
You know what?
said I want to boop. Bryce
Somebody
Harper.
grab that
I
off
didn't
of the
realize that's
podcast. Go back and fill it in with whatever you want.
Don't
And
tempt me
send
with
it
a
in the
good
show.
time.
Oh no! If you can't justify losing unless you just got beat, and the Cardinals didn't get beat. They beat themselves. Do we agree, Brad?
I agree 1,000%.
Hannah?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, I agreeth.
I agree.
Okay, fine.
You want to do the YouTube live chat poll? You can tell us what the poll is. Let's get Ryan's reaction to
All
it
right,
first.
the poll today is asking, in the midterm election, what outcome do you expect in the U.S. Senate? GOP having 53 plus seats, GOP with 51 or 52 seats, 50-50 split, or Democrat majority?
I'm just because I think it's going to be such a big red wave year. I don't know whether this translates to the Senate or not, but I'm going to go ahead and pick 53 simply because I think the numbers could be there to do it. And I would say it's more likely that happens than we're expecting. That's my bold prediction.
Brad?
Yeah, I got 51. I know it's 51 or 52, so I'm going to click that one, but with 51 in mind. And I think that's mainly because of the map. It has nothing to do with, like, the Democrats surging or anything like that. It's just the map isn't favorable to the Republicans. It's going to be a red wave. It's not going to be a red tsunami, I don't think. I think it's going to be a really strong red wave, and that's why it's going to be 51. And because the map is negative, even if the Republicans come out of it, it shows how strong an election cycle they had.
Yeah. Hannah, you got thoughts?
I said 51 or 52 seats that Republicans will have. And since Brad said 51, I'm going to go 52.
There you go.
I hope Hannah's right.
Me too.
Actually, I hope Ryan.
hope
Yeah,
I'm right.
We hope Ryan's right. I'd say 51 or 52, but I, like Ryan, don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to get 53 plus. I also predicted that in Georgia, in that runoff election that took place the day before January 6th and January 5th, I also predicted that in an uncharacteristically, how do you say that word?
You got it.
Slowly.
Yeah, it took you some time,
It's like
but
a passing
you got
grade.
there.
Don't ever make me say that again. Woo! I kind of optimistically said that I was pretty confident we'd win one, if not both of them. Ugh. I still have regret for being optimistic. Not for being wrong, for being optimistic. I shouldn't have been. So I hesitate now to be optimistic because I don't want to screw it up again as if I have anything to do with it.
The Senate is so weird this year because Republicans look like they have a better than average chance of taking Nevada and some states like that. If that's the case, and everything else looks like it's going to break, Wisconsin, Ohio, North Carolina, look like they're all going to go Republican. If that does happen, that's 50 seats right there for Republicans. They only need to pick off one seat between Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, maybe even New Hampshire. I'm going to put that in there. If they pick off one of those seats, they'll have the majority. Now, that's not a sure thing because Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona are not. They're right on the line.
They could all go Democrat.
They very well could, but the chances are you could pick off one of those seats. I think you'd have to say it's very possible and even likely that Republicans would do that.
On the YouTube chat right now, Strong says, Strong is his name. He said, so a lame duck Biden, meaning if the Republicans win, it would be a lame duck Biden. YouTube flagged that for approval.
What?
He says, so a lame duck Biden. That's the full comment he made. and it's flagged for review.
It's a setting that you have.
I don't know which part of that really alerted the masses.
Lame or duck.
Lame, duck, Biden. I just approved it.
Yeah.
So I hope we don't get our first strike back on YouTube. Let's get to some of the comments and the results, Hannah, on today's. Is it 53 plus, GOP 51 or 52, a 50-50 split, or a Democrat majority?
All right. Our poll is currently tied for first. So I'll read a few comments and then I'll read the results. So maybe the results will pile over one another.
Oh, wait a second. I think that YouTube thinks that the duck part of this is maybe a misspelling.
D-U-C-K.
Because somebody said duck and then his name. And that got flagged too.
Okay.
So I think we figured that out. I kind of understand that.
Norman from YouTube says, I'm praying for 53 plus, but I'll settle for 51 or 52. David just said 53. Amanda said, I voted 53 plus. I don't know why. I'm just trying to be extremely optimistic. Doug says, I think that the GOP will gain 54 seats in the Senate. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania could add 2 more on to that. Jeff says, I don't care what number of seats we get as long as we are the majority and do what they promise to do and say that they are. I'll be happy.
You know what? It does matter, though, how many they get, because these are 6 years that they hold on to these. So you could have potentially all of these going right into the next term of a Republican presidency. So it does matter.
Yeah.
All right. Lori says, at least the 51-52 amount, hopefully more, since what we've seen with the Democrat Party lately, they claim that the majority want what the Dems are doing wrong. Andrew says that he thinks it'll be a 50-50 split. So does Dirk. He says, for the poll, I chose 50-50. That way, if it's Democrat, I won't feel too disappointed. But if it's more Republican, then I'll be happy.
We are 4 votes away from 200 votes right now. If people want to weigh in.
All right. I got a few more comments. I'll read them and then we'll see the results. Officer Gary says, I'd like to see 53 plus after the midterm elections, but I'd settle for a simple majority at this point. Carlos said, I think there will be a 1 or 2 person lead in the Senate. And Bob to you says, I voted in the poll saying I think it would end up 50-50 tie in the Senate, even though I am hopeful that the Republicans could pick up 1 or 2 seats. 20 plus days till the midterm election. Too much time to risk still. I think it's 22 days to be exact, right?
22 days. All right, let's get to our poll. Completely science-based on what's going to happen here in November.
All right, so once again, the question is asking in the midterm election, what outcome do you expect in the U.S. Senate? 53 plus seats, 51 or 52 GOP, 50-50 split, or Democrat majority? 44% is tied for first. Oh, it just changed. 45% says GOP with 53 plus seats. 44% says GOP with 51 or 52. 8% say 50-50 split. And 3% says Democrat majority.
89% of the people think that the Republicans are going to have the majority.
I hope 89% of people are right.
I do too. And I also think that there is not much that can happen. Oh, Annie, shut up. There's not much that can happen in the next 22 days that is going to make people feel the inflation less. That's what I'm saying. It's the key issue. It's what people are experiencing, and it's bad, even though the president says it's not. Stick around. Mark Reardon next.
Almost any business conference that you would go to these days requires you to travel out of state and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars